I get my hurricane names messed up.
Yeah.
We all know about Helene right now. By the way, before we start, Helene has canceled App's game.
It has.
Right. And I know Chip Patterson always somehow works in an unprecedented statewide network, and we don't boast about it. We don't talk about it, but we are thankful for our listeners in Asheville and the mountains and in Charlotte. Of course, they can't hear this. They time shift it, but so they'll just have to know I love them.
Right.
And the coast, because we're on in Wilmington. Shouts to Sam and all my friends in Wilmington. But this hurricane that is, I guess it's probably down to a tropical storm by now. I haven't seen the weather forecast or the weather. We had the Weather Channel on constantly yesterday in my house. But it has done, I mean, total damage to so many areas that are not used to having to deal with hurricanes.
Yes, especially the mountains.
Yes. They talked about the flooding being the worst since 1916.
Wow.
And I think when I hear that phrase, that's over 100 years by my math.
Yeah.
That's a significant storm. So I know that there were just damage, things just totally destroyed. I hope everybody's safe. Hope we can provide a little bit of a change of pace for you today. If in fact you're kind of stuck somewhere and you can still listen to the radio, I hope everything is all right. But man, I do know I feel for you. It has been really, really, it's just turned everything upside down for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And again, App State's game tomorrow is canceled.
Yes.
All right. Anything else?
I think also a lot of the events are too. Someone had asked me on Twitter about the game, and I looked it up, and there were supposed to be like events this weekend, family gatherings, and all that stuff.
Well,
of
yeah.
course, is canceled. But they canceled that first before the game, surprisingly.
State and Notre Dame played. Was it Matthew? Right when it was. There was like a foot of water on the ground.
Yeah.
And they still played. Like, okay. Yeah. All that other stuff is gonna get canceled too. If they can't play a football game,
they're definitely not doing anything else.
Then the Glee Club ain't meeting. So we have to understand that. And one more thing before we start. Condolences to Joe Wolf's family and the Carolina basketball family. 59 years old. Joe Wolf, I believe a national champion at UNC, if not certainly an ACC champion at UNC, but Joe Wolf passed away, 59 years old.
That's young.
Yes, very, very young, says somebody who just turned 58. All right.
Still young.
Very. So condolences to Joe Wolf, his family, and the UNC basketball community. All right, let's get right to it. Let's make people smile. And I'm not entirely sure I could do that right away because we are going to talk football in the state of North Carolina, although the Panthers did win their last time out. So.
I know. NFC champs of the last weekend. I'm riding that until the next weekend.
Find the lie. They have won more games. They have the best record in the last week of anybody in the NFL. They're tied for 16th. Tied for first with 15 other teams. I'll get it eventually. All right, rivalry game weekend. We've got Dave Doran going up against his old school, Andy Dalton. Second straight start against his original team. Cowboys did enough last night. It weren't great. They did enough. And it is fake hockey night in the capital city. All of those things, plus we might throw in some other nuggets. All of those things will be on our menu for today. But we are fighting for the right to paint and ring the victory bell at Wallace Wade Stadium tomorrow afternoon. Blue Devils are 4-0. Only the last win, however, was of the convincing variety. Right? If we think back, right? Elon was a little tougher than the score would indicate. I think the final score was 26-3. Northwestern, they could have easily lost.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, easily lost. They could have that game. The next one against UConn, and that was a blown lead, and then a comeback was necessary. Last week against Middle Tennessee State was the first time we really saw Duke put their foot down. And after Middle Tennessee scored, I believe, on the third play of the game, Duke came right back, scored on their second play. And from there on in, it was a Duke runaway. Manny Diaz is the head coach of the Blue Devils and has to like what he has seen from his offense.
What you're starting to see is it feels like we're coming here every Monday and we're talking about a different guy. Right, you know Jordan Moore is consistent and one of the top players in the country, in my opinion, a wide receiver. But when you're seeing Dal Mullen, be the player of the game, and last week we were all talking about Queso and Star Thomas is the guy now, and you know what I mean. And so you're creating a problem for the defense, right? Because wherever they, if they make a mistake, right, we have guys that can punish them at all spots. Eli with his touchdown. So to be a well-balanced offense, you have to have weapons all over that would stress the defense.
All right, the other thing for the Blue Devils, and we're actually going to talk to Bryn Renner coming up at the bottom of the hour, played quarterback for the Tar Heels, has won this rivalry game several times. But if you're looking at this from a Duke perspective, we will also talk to Dave Harding today from the Duke Radio Network. The Blue Devils cannot let North Carolina's best player be the game's best player, and that is running back Omarion Hampton.
What's good defense about, right? You got to get multiple hats to the football, right? If he's in a lot of one-on-one type situations, you're going to be in a problem, don't let him get going. Like I said, now that's easy to say, that's hard to do. They do a nice job with pre-snap and post-snap motions to try to get your eyes in the wrong place to take it off of him. So it's a great challenge for our guys. But look, this is what what we always tell our guys is that great players punish you for your mistakes. You're still in control whether you make a mistake or not, right? So if we can be where we're supposed to be and be gap sound, you have half a chance to get him. Now getting him on the ground is the second part of the equation.
Yes. Look, Hampton is one of the best running backs in the country. His numbers have been great, but I think if you've watched North Carolina play, I don't think that he has been the catalyst to control the game, but that doesn't mean he can't control games. Duke must be effective. Look, they're good at tackles for loss, but a lot of that is pressuring the quarterback, although they have gotten some running backs behind the line of scrimmage as well. Big game. It's a huge game for Duke in terms of the schedule, in terms of their record, in terms of what they've got coming up after this one. It's a big game for North Carolina for different reasons. This is a big emotional game for them because it's funny, they are 3-1. But if you didn't know, based on the level of despair, you would think North Carolina was 0-3. And this is a big game for them for intangible reasons. Mac Brown, since coming back, has not lost this game. He is 5-0. As for NC State, State hosts Northern Illinois, which is the school Dave Doran coached before he came to Raleigh. As a matter of fact, they went to a BCS game. Doran's regular season there was so good, Northern Illinois went to a BCS game but didn't coach that game because he had already accepted the state job, so somebody else, I don't remember who, coached that game. Northern Illinois, I'm not going to lie. I know they beat Notre Dame. I didn't watch that game. But here's what I do know about Northern Illinois. They can run the football. So far this year, for whatever reason, State hasn't really been able to lean on their running game, and they haven't been able to stop the run. They are in the bottom third at running and stopping the run in the ACC. I think they're 13th in run offense and 14th in run defense. And yes, I know they played Clemson, they played Tennessee, but NC State's, you're not supposed to give up 280 yards rushing or whatever they did. So how did Dave Doran go about the business of getting his team kind of back on track, especially defensively in practice?
Guys were definitely encouraged by themselves, by coaches, by former players. There's a certain brand of football that exists at NC State that needs to be on the field, and it wasn't last week. And it starts with being a physical bunch of guys, and that's, in essence, the DNA. It starts with physicality. And so that was preached and talked a lot about. Obviously, our opponent believes in the same thing. It's going to be a really physical football game. And so Tuesday and Wednesday were that. They were really physical practices led by the players. They did a great job pushing each other, competing. Did a lot of good on good this week to get the speed of the game that we need to do that. So definitely put the work in.
All right, there's been nothing that we have seen over 4 weeks that should give State fans confidence that their initial goals starting the season to compete for a spot in the ACC championship game is going to happen. Nothing we have seen. We can explain losses to what I think are two playoff teams, Tennessee and Clemson, even utter dominant losses. But if you looked at the other two games, they probably brought more disappointing signs, right? They struggled with Western Carolina, gave up a lot of big plays in that game, struggled to run the ball against Western Carolina, struggled to stop the run. At least, it's kind of weird because the stats don't look right. The stats look like they did stop the run, but if you watch the game, man, there were a lot of broken tackles. So it wasn't as good as even maybe the stats would belie. And it's Western Carolina. You should have dominated the line of scrimmage, and they didn't. But against Louisiana Tech, there were also problems. They also had problems getting to their running game. And that has to change, not just to beat Northern Illinois, but they're going to have to figure out a way to be better against the run. And, this is a game they could lose. Again, if they were trailing at the half like they were to Louisiana Tech. And I don't believe State will take this game lightly at all. Especially with that, when you know that Northern Illinois did win at Notre Dame. State's going to have to play well to win this game. And I want to see it look a little bit differently. There's a lot of other, we'll ask the question later on, how will the ACC disappoint us this weekend? But we'll do that later. Let's talk about the Panthers real quick, because the head coach of the Hurricanes is actually going to pop in for a couple of minutes here in a second, because there is preseason game numero dos tonight. Panthers and Bengals at Bank of America Stadium on Sunday. And for the first time in a minute, the Panthers are coming off of a win.
Yes.
That has not happened a lot.
No.
It only happened twice the entirety of last season.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a new mentality. How do you back it up? Dave Canales on that.
For me, it's just the next game. There's you don't carry all of those wins or losses into the next game. It's just this one. They're right back to work, I'm sure, just like we are. We're focused on this game, and we can't think about what happened in the last week.
Oh, that is so coachy. That is so. But they were the best team in the NFL.
A lot of coach speak.
They had the best record in the NFL last week. Right? Okay. Now, all summer long, we heard about Bryce Young and Deontay Johnson. All summer. Yep. Those two guys were inseparable. They were constantly, they were running extra routes. Bryce Young getting extra throws.
Besties.
Chemistry was great, all of that. And now, it's a new quarterback. So how are things, Coach, with Andy Dalton and Deontay Johnson?
This is a real challenge, to come into a situation where most of your reps haven't gone to Deontay, but both of those guys are experienced players who are very serious about the game plan, about working through the nuances of the routes all the way through the plan. And so that was a full week process all the way through Saturday of talking, on game day talking, having those conversations on the sideline. So just a great job by those two guys to find good work together.
It's sad that that's the case, but it's also great that Andy was able to connect with Deontay because they were connecting a lot the last game.
One of his, if not his best statistical game of his career.
Right.
Deontay Johnson, here's the thing. I think he is a good receiver. He is not a number one receiver, but he is a good receiver. And I've learned this. I am an expert. People have various levels of expertise. I am an expert in one thing.
Bagels.
Well, two things. I am an expert in bagels. Yeah. Just look at me. I am an expert in being a fan of teams that are mostly bad.
Ah, yeah.
I am.
Same.
I grew up a Mets fan. Until 3 years ago, I was a Jets fan. Mm-hmm. I was a Knicks fan. There you go.
Yes.
I am an expert in recognizing the fact that my team is not that good. And when you do that, you realize that the players that you believe to be, oh man, he's great, probably isn't great. But he is useful, just not in the role that your team, which is probably bad, is using him. I think Deontay Johnson is a perfect number 2 receiver. How do you find the one? Maybe it's Xavier Liggett. I don't know. It might be down the road. It's not now. Mm-hmm. But so how do you find the number 1 receiver? But Deontay Johnson, I always thought that, by the way, about DJ Moore. I never looked at him as a number 1 receiver. I looked at DJ Moore as a number 2 receiver, and if you could find somebody to be in front of him, now you had something. And opinions on that matter vary greatly. But that's just the way I look at it. So the Panthers need to figure out a way they need some elite talents, which they do not have at any level of their offense. Right now they don't have an elite talent at quarterback, anywhere on the offensive line, in the backfield, at receiver. They don't have that. There is nobody that you go, oh my gosh, if we got to do something to stop that guy.
I mean, Derek Brown's still out, so.
Well, on defense, I would argue they have one of them and he's hurt.
Right.
Right? It's Derek Brown and he's hurt. Nobody else. There's a linebacker I'm worried about. J.C. Horn has not yet proven to me that he is one of those corners that I have to avoid at all costs. They don't have none of the edge rushers are great. Jadeveon Clowney is their best, and, he's good, but he is not good. He's not Micah Parsons. Hopefully he'll be okay.
Yeah.
His ankle injury could be serious. We don't know. Having an MRI today. The x-rays came back. It's not a break, but they're concerned that there's some soft tissue damage.
Giants better hope Neighbors is okay, too, because...
he's in concussion protocol.
Yeah.
Neighbors in concussion protocol. He'll be okay. Mm-hmm. It just depends on how long it takes.
Right.
But he entered protocol yesterday. They were hurt on consecutive plays last night. And we're not going to talk about it right now. I want to thank that game for being bad.
Yeah, it was. I fell asleep. Gosh. At some point, I fell asleep.
Dallas...
Right.
Nice. You won.
Gotta
you won the game.
Yeah.
You won. It's the most important thing for Dallas is winning. So, yes, polite golf clap.
Yep.
All right. Hurricanes tonight against the Florida Panthers. But I am curious why nobody asked Rod Brindamore on Tuesday about that game. Seemed like after the game in Tampa, nobody wanted to discuss the actual game. But, hey, look, it was fun coaching your son, I'm sure. Although I appreciated Skylar's reaction to the same question, which was like, yeah, it was just a game. Well, maybe down the road we'll think about it. So about the game, I thought the third period was your best period. I don't think that was close. What are your thoughts on what we saw Tuesday?
It's, it's probably what was expected with what we were kind of putting out there. As far as a little bit smaller group, and we didn't have a lot of zone time, and we were working really hard. I thought third period, we kind of got a few shifts in a row at the end of the game that really was the difference. Kind of playing more the way I'd like to see it, and Cooch was really good, which was great.
Yeah,
got him a lot of action, which it kind of worked out how we thought it was going to, and he got the work he needed, and everyone got out of there unscathed, so that's good.
And avoided overtime. Is there anything worse than overtime in a preseason game?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, even that, though, you can get some, it's good to have kind of like all clips on everything, so we have talking points as we move forward with everyone. But, yeah, no, on the road, I'd like to get out of there.
I was a little surprised when I saw the roster for tonight's game to see basically your entire lineup, apart from just a couple of guys. The fourth line will be rookies and prospects and things like that. But thought process behind dressing basically everybody tonight.
Well, they got to get going. At some point we got to put them
right.
in. And the likelihood is that they're not going to probably get too many of these road games. And so you only have 3. And, if you only play them in 2, where are you going to fit them in? So they've been going at it here for a week. And, it's kind of like, okay, let's get playing. So, and I say a week, it's been a week with us, but, months of off-season training. So I think they all appreciate getting into some action.
I know from the first day of training camp when William Carrier got hurt, initially your reaction made it appear that you were concerned that this would be a longer-term deal. Good to see that he's going to be in the lineup tonight. What can fans expect from William Carrier?
Well, I think the reason we brought him in was I think we all understood that we were going to be without Jesper.
Yep.
And, you go out there and you start looking around at players that kind of play the same way. And, that's the top of the list of the guys that were out there. So I thought we did a nice job being able to get him to come and be a part of it. I think he likes, the way he plays kind of fits our style. And, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But, if that line that we like to use with Marduk and Jordo, potentially – could be a real good fit for him. So, that's what am I looking to see? Again, first game, early. It's just, are we starting to kind of get way we want to do things in the right spots, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm not expecting too much.
All right, final thing, and I could argue that there are no NHL spots. I thought Tyson Jost, Eric Robinson both played pretty well in Tampa. But then I could argue that there are no available spots for rookies or prospects on this team unless they basically give you no other option. But I think there are some things worth talking about players jockeying for position within the lineup. And you and I have talked about Jack Drury and Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and I think they both played a very good game on Tuesday in Tampa. Jesperi is going to be in the lineup tonight. Jack is not. I'm not reading into that. But what were your thoughts on those two players specifically from the game Tuesday night?
Yeah, I agree. I thought they both did things that we were looking for them to do. I thought, KK, struggled last year a little bit in face-off, especially the right side. He was good the other night. Now, again, and they had actually a couple centers that are legit that were playing that we're going to see. So that's what I was encouraging. And then Jack was, got us the game-winning goal by doing what he does, right? So. Just doing little things right that a lot of people don't understand maybe or don't notice, but obviously we do. So, I thought that they were both good, and, we'll get another look at KK tonight, and then, probably Jack tomorrow. I mean, it's just kind of, that's just the nature of these games, how it goes. But, obviously they're both big parts of what we need to have going forward.
Jack drew the road game straw. Oh, well. Rod Brindamore, thank you very much. I will see you later.
Okay, you got it, buddy.
By the way, the game is an hour earlier than normal. It's a 6 o'clock game today. And tomorrow's game is also 6 o'clock. So airtime, if you are listening locally, 5:30 on 99.9 The Fan.
Nice.
So that's when the Storm Watch begins. I will have to be ready for that. I'll have an hour earlier than normal. That's good. That means I get to go home an hour earlier than normal. But we'll be at the arena coming up, in like 5 hours we start. Gosh, it's soon. All right, when we come back, Bryn Renner, who has played for the Victory Bell a time or two. We'll talk to him about the game, the rivalry, what's going on with the Tar Heels. Next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Carolina Ford Dealers. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks at every Panthers game. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Well, Daniel Jones and company couldn't pull through to get a home win, and we might be in store for more of the same this weekend in the NFL. I'm Victoria Vodenecker here for BetMGM, and whether you're a fan of college football, pro football, maybe you're super interested in the MLB as we approach the playoffs, or maybe you're an MMA nerd like myself and you are so ready for UFC Paris this weekend. But either way, BetMGM gives you all of those options and more when placing wagers. Whichever sport you feel like making a little more interesting, when you open the BetMGM app, you're going to see options like betting the money line, same-game parlays, live bets, prop bets, and BetMGM has reoccurring daily promotions for day of games. All brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today and please gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Who's ready for some football? Celebrate the season with award-winning wings and ice-cold pints at Carolina Ale House. With wall-to-wall TVs, Carolina Ale House is the go-to spot for every game. From Honey Buffalo to Five Alarm to Carolina Barbecue, we've got wing sauces for all flavors. If you're feeling hungry, don't forget about our brisket French dip or Philly cheesesteak. Grab a front row seat, sip on your favorite beer, and watch your squad with us. Carolina Ale House. Ale yeah.
The clock is ticking. Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is almost over. Until September 30th, you can get 5 years of 0% financing on any purchase. It's the perfect chance for worry-free shopping with no interest and monthly payments customized for you. And now open Sunday, September 29th. Take advantage of this amazing opportunity. From luxury timepieces to engagement rings and more. Don't wait. Spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest on approved credit. Only until September 30th. For details and more, visit DiamondsDirect.com.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
It's truck season at John Heister Chevrolet, and boy, have we got a deal for you. Right now, you can get that 24 Silverado 1500 LTZ you've been wanting, or up to $14,000 off when you trade in a 2010 or newer car or light-duty vehicle, including 3/4 and 1-ton pickups and vans. Up to $14,000 off a brand new 24 Silverado 1500 LTZ. See dealer for details. Get off your keister and get to John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay-Varina. Together, let's drive.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-885-9700. 800-885-9700. 800-885-9700.
This is is Adam Gold.
And I did have to use two screens at one point, or a couple of points, and I don't like it. I can't watch two games at the same time.
There's a lot going on.
I'm sorry. I'm incapable of doing that. Because there were times where, I forgot this other game was on in front of me.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold, Victoria, producing the program. So there was not that problem for me this past Saturday at noon because as one game appeared hopeless, I changed to the other game, and then that game appeared hopeless, and then I was in a quandary.
Right, now what?
I did not know what to do at that point.
Lawn work.
Which I eventually got to that.
Yeah.
And I listened to the games. Actually, I was watching them on TV, but listening it through whatever. It was just stupid. It was a tough week. Bryn Renner, former North Carolina quarterback. Have you ever been through, not what I was going through, watching the games is not an ordeal. When was the last time you had to deal with that kind of, I don't know, that kind of frustration on a football field?
Well, I should have been doing lawn work too during the game. But no, all seriousness, I can recall we lost to Georgia Tech in 2012, late in the year. I think it was, late October. We lost 68-50, Adam. And when I was watching the game, I kind of put myself, unfairly back in that situation. And, a lot of points were scored and we couldn't stop them, obviously. And it was one of those games where I didn't think we played that bad offensively because we scored 50 points and had all these stats, but we were never really in the game because we were down and chasing by 2 scores. So that was really kind of the only time that I felt like we're still battling to come back. It was such an insurmountable lead that they had. It was almost like it's out of reach. All you can do is go compete.
Yeah, and that was a Georgia Tech team coached by Paul Johnson in that wishbone. I know he called it a spread offense. He can call it what he wants. But it was definitely a wishbone that when they were on, a lot of teams had trouble stopping them because every once in a while he'd just throw a pass to a wide open receiver because who would cover a receiver when you're having that much trouble stopping the run? Bryn Renner, part of the North Carolina radio broadcast. So take me through this game because, yes, Carolina scored 50 points, but and they scored piled up 616 yards of total offense. But there were 611 yards by JMU, and I don't even know if it's that good a JMU team. And it seemed like there was a big play, like every third play was a chunk play for them. So what were you seeing from Carolina defensively that allowed that to happen?
Yeah, I want to kind of point out some things that I hit on during the broadcast when I was watching the game. I think one was JMU had a brand new coaching staff and 58 guys were new on the roster. And the way of free agency, and we talked about this last time I was on, is the NIL is real. So all these teams are competitive very quick. Like their best receiver was a transfer from San Diego State.
Okay.
And I knew that kid on tape was going to be a really good player. Running back George Pettaway came from Carolina.
Yes.
4-star kid out of Virginia. So you're really looking at players now instead of saying, hey, this is JMU. No, this is like a George Pettaway that was at UNC recruited. So that was number one for me. Coming into the game, I knew they were extremely talented. And then two, when you watched the game, they looked like they had 2 weeks to prepare because they had a bye week before they came into Keenan. And you and I have both watched enough football. When you have a big game and you're going to play in Carolina and you're James Madison, the expectation, even when you get the calendar and the schedule, hey, man, that's a big game. And college players respond to big-time games. And, I think it was one of those games where it started off really hot. And I think college football more than any sport, why we love it is because it's based off momentum.
Yeah.
They have a block punt. They get the onside kick. They score off an interception. They score like 5 different ways that it's really hard to do that in one game and not win it. And so they just had a lot of breaks and they caught Carolina at a time where, offensively we're still trying to figure it out with Jacoby. It was his first start. And then you got to get away from the running game. I said that all along. I said, Carolina's strength the first 3 weeks was running the ball with Marion Hampton and trying to figure out who the quarterback was going to be. And that's tough when you get down by 11 points or 14 points and it keeps going and you can't run the football. So it was one of those things where it was almost a perfect storm, and it unfortunately happened and caused Carolina to lose.
Bryn Renner is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Let's get to Amari and Hampton and the matchup against Duke. Blue Devils have been aggressive. I think if they don't lead the ACC, they're near the top in tackles for loss. I think they have sort of gotten away with maybe some games that they could have, maybe should have lost, but they're 4-0, and they're 4-0 for a reason. They have made some big plays on the defensive side of the ball. How do you create opportunities for Hampton against Duke's defense?
Yeah, the biggest thing is one, Manny Diaz is a very good defensive coach.
Right.
And so going into the game, his number one goal is going to be to stop Amarion in the run game. And Adam, honestly, I would get to him in space. I would throw screen passes. I would, put him outside the backfield. I remember, James White in the Super Bowl, like they put him at receiver and he had 13 catches and he was the MVP.
Yes.
And there's different ways where you can get that guy the ball because, I was always taught by, NFL guys, and especially when I get to the NFL, it's about touches. How can we get Amari on the ball in space? And, if he's not in the backfield, let's get it to him where he's catching it because he's really good hands, and find ways to get him the ball, not just being, in the pistol and running outside zone. That would be number one. And I think a lot of guys got to step up as well. I think it's time where it's, we're going into game 5 and we have a young receiving core and really good tight end in Nesbitt, and Copenhagen is coming on. And guys got to make plays. And Amarion's going to be the featured back, but you got to really find a guy that can kind of counterbalance that on offense.
When we talked to Amari and Hampton at Operation Football down in Charlotte in July, he talked specifically about working on his game out of the backfield, catching the ball. He'd been watching a lot of tape of Christian McCaffrey. I think a pretty good guy to watch in that regard. So, he had talked about the guys he loved growing up were like the Marshawn Lynches of the world, but now he's watching the guys who catch the ball out of the backfield. Yeah, that would be a good idea for Carolina. Now, Duke's offense, they have become a big play passing offense now with Malik Murphy. How does Carolina make that not be a problem? Of course, they've had trouble stopping the run too.
Yeah, I think, the biggest thing that you have to do is Malik Murphy has had explosive passing plays down the field with 20-plus yards. And that means I would back my corners up just a little bit and I wouldn't press him because he's going to hold on to the ball and he's got a cannon. Even coming from Texas, all we heard was, hey, he's got a great arm, strong arm. And strong arm guys like to push the ball down the field, especially using the middle. And that's where the linebackers have to cover tight ends and slot receivers. I think if you look at their completion percentage, I'd probably say there's a high volume inside the hash marks we call it of the field. So I would jam and reroute receivers a lot this week with what Jeff Collins wants to do because Carolina the first 3 weeks was blitzing a ton. And even versus JMU early in the game, we were blitzing a ton and getting good pressure. So I think you just got to keep doing that and try to get him off his spot. But the kids played outstanding football the first 4 weeks. So definitely got to jam receivers and try to throw them off their routes. And that's really kind of disrupts the entire passing game, in my opinion.
Mac Brown loves this game. He is 5-0 against Duke since coming back. I mean, you could argue that they've simply had better players, although Duke's had some very good teams in this 5-year run. Do you think people underestimate how much it means to players? Because they certainly enjoy ringing the bell when the game's over.
Yeah, I think it's more of locker room to locker room. And, this game is so special for a lot of people, the guys that have come before us as Tar Heels and even, Blue Devils. I think it's one of those high school rivalries that you will never forget. And I think a lot of people kind of misunderstand how much you hate each school, especially for 4 quarters. And that's one thing that we always understood. And honestly, the coaches did a good job of making it different than any other week. And I know Coach Brown, is I think we're going to come out and have our hair on fire because we know how much it means to ring that bell and go take it from, the other sideline. And I know how much it meant for guys in the locker room. I mean, Adam, we would have weeks of full contact, take tackling to the ground because we're playing Duke. or we're playing state. It just meant more. And I think, that's something that's really special in college athletics. And honestly, I don't think Saturday is going to be any different.
Bryn Renner is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, played quarterback at UNC, as you all know, and now part of the radio network. Do you like that this game is the ACC opener for both schools?
I don't. I don't. I like it at the end when it matters. And that's always when we played them. It was more of like the anticipation, hey, can you go to a bowl game? What bowl are you going to go to? Or can you knock somebody out of bowl contention? I remember we played, I think it was 2000, maybe it was 2011, and they were rolling and we were rolling, and we beat them at home. And it was one of those games. I think Sean Winfrey was the quarterback, and we discussed this a couple times. And it was like one of those games where we were either going to go to a nice bowl game or they were, and it just meant more, especially late in the season and when everybody was clicking. So I don't know why the ACC put it, it's the opening game, but I'd like to see it go back in the year. I would love for us to even play Duke and State back to back, and then vice versa, because I think that would be really cool.
That's the way it used to be. It was either State first and then Duke first, or it was Duke first then State. But now, who knows? I mean, there's 70 teams in the ACC. We'll probably get to a point where Carolina and Duke don't play every year in football, which of course is silly. But the ACC isn't necessarily a logical year. Now, let me ask you real quick as we have to say goodbye. Bryn Renner, one of the greats, former North Carolina quarterback, and of course part of the radio broadcast now. I would say that. To use a relationship term, Carolina's in a little bit of a vulnerable state right now. Mac certainly is. He was all over the place after the loss to JMU, and I understand it. He hates to lose. He can't figure out how JMU put 70 on the board, all of that. How easily is it to, I'm trying to get this the best way. The players almost have to come to their coach's defense here. It's a difficult position, I guess, to put players in. How do they rally around Mac this week and tomorrow?
It's a great question. And I think the better locker room you have, it gets to the point where you're playing for your coach. And that can motivate a team. It happened with us. And I can go from personal experience. Butch gets let go, and we have Everett. And it motivated us. We started off the season 6-1. And it was personal pride, everybody doing their job a little bit extra, and especially coming off the JMU game, you want to play harder for your coach. And so when I said this week, it could be a blessing in disguise, and you don't know what fires the team up, but I think that fired us up a little bit. Coach Brown's done some great things for the university, and he wants to, keep doing this and keep it's a personal hit when you lose a game like that. Mm-hmm. And I've been a part of those, like I mentioned, but I think as a player, just taking myself back in the locker room, practices were better, lifting was better. You just kind of dialed in because you were doing it for your coach. And so because you care about him. He cares about you and you care about him, and you want to have success, and everybody's trying to achieve the same thing. So I think it could be a blessing in disguise, especially playing a big game this week.
It is. No, there's no time like the present. Mac is always dialed up for this one. I think we're going to have a great game. I think Duke is good, and I think Carolina isn't as bad as getting 70 put on them by JMU. Mm-hmm. And like I said it before, you would think, based on the way everybody's talked, that Carolina's 0-3, but they are 3-1. And the win over Minnesota was, I thought, a pretty good performance in a lot of different ways. I thought the defense looked really good in that game, and they're going to have to get back to that against the Blue Devils. We'll be listening. Bryn Renner, former Tar Heel quarterback, at Bryn Renner on Twitter. My friend, I appreciate your time always. I will bug you again very soon.
You're the best, Adam. Have a good one.
You too. Bryn Renner here on the Adam Gold Show. So I agree. I don't think it's worth necessarily, expanding into this massive conversation. Rivalry games, especially when they are within a conference, to me, they need a special late season place on the calendar, right? The only rivalry game that I truly believe belongs early, or belonged, was when Florida State and Miami, although I guess they were both independents at the time, they used to play the first Saturday of October every year. Actually, I think Florida State might have been an ACC team at the time anyway. But even before then, when Miami was an independent and Florida was an independent, those two teams met the first Saturday in October. And it was always a classic. Are they starting that with Duke and Carolina? It seems a little early to me. We're not even, it's going to be September. All right. When we come back, keys to a Panthers' second consecutive victory and a Super Bowl parade. Panthers Pawprint next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
NASCAR's Wild Card Weekend. It's a blur, just how it's supposed to be. Wide open weekend, Wild Card Race. The ultimate NASCAR experience. Camping, concerts, tailgating, and an edge-of-your-seat thrill ride in NASCAR's playoffs. Think your driver's making the cut? Good luck. The Bank of America Roval 400, October 12th and 13th. It's a wide-open weekend and a wild card race. Get your tickets today at CharlotteMotorspeedway.com.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we believe that getting to know you is the best way to protect what you love most. We have friendly agents in every county to help you prepare for the unexpected. And when life doesn't go as planned, our award-winning claims team will be with you every step of the way. Find a local agent today at ncfbins.com. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Since the pandemic, life expectancy in our state has declined, and Cone Health is pledging millions of dollars and countless man-hours to address health disparities in medically underserved areas of the state. We'll talk with Dr. Olujegede, who is helping to lead Cone Health's Catch 5 in 5 initiative. The North Carolina Healthcare Association and the North Carolina News Network invite you to learn more on this month's Conversations on the State of Healthcare, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast or by visiting nchealthcare.org.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcast.
Psst. Hello there. It's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rec to request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we've got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
You don't need a 4-year degree to have a rewarding career that makes a difference in people's lives every day. As a public power line worker, you'll build and maintain a locally owned and operated electric system to keep the lights on in your community. 4 months in a community college program provides the training you need to begin your career as an apprentice line worker in public power. And being a local government employee in North Carolina comes with excellent benefits. To learn more about line worker and other public power careers, visit electricities.com.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Since the pandemic, life expectancy in our state has declined, and Cone Health is pledging millions of dollars and countless man-hours to address health disparities in medically underserved areas of the state. We'll talk with Dr. Olujegede, who is helping to lead Cone Health's Catch 5 in 5 initiative. The North Carolina Healthcare Association and the North Carolina News Network invite you to learn more on this month's Conversations on the State of Healthcare, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast or by visiting nchealthcare.org.
This is Adam Gold.
Maybe at some point after repeated losing, David Tepper will get out of the way.
Yeah, it's going to be on my Christmas list every year until it happens. So, there.
I wish I could give you that.
I wish
I could put a bow around that
Oh,
for you,
me
Victoria.
too.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria, she's here. It's not a Wednesday.
I know.
Just a joke.
I know. I'm not on the other side of the state.
Look, I missed 2 Thursdays in a row. Lee Sterling would be like, oh, look, Gold's back.
I know.
He probably hated it.
I know. Chip sent me a text on Wednesday because it just always works out where, like, I take my days off on Wednesday, and he's like, you're ducking me again?
Yeah.
No, not on purpose.
Yeah, well, it happens.
I know.
All right, we got a bunch of things. We have rivalry games to talk about. We have a Panthers game. We're going to get to that actually here in a second. Hurricanes again tonight. Dave Harding from the Duke Radio Network is going to join us next hour. And I want to get into quarterback narrative discussions, which I find fascinating, and people get very territorial about these things. So we're going to have some fun just talking about quarterbacks and who the best guys are. I love Evan Cohen.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't watch Daniel Jones and think there's a good quarterback in there.
No.
Now, is he somebody that can, because he has certain skills, can get you out of games? Yeah, I think he can. I think in using the right way, he can be effective as a guy who can finish a game, give you a spot start. But for a 17-game football season, if you want to be like a good team, no.
Mm-hmm.
No. He is not a good quarterback. Anyway, we'll talk about quarterbacks later. Right now, time for the 3 keys to the game in the Panthers' Pawprint. Victoria does this. I have no keys.
It's very dramatic. I like the music.
Yeah.
It's very dramatic. So, my number 1, they're going to have to put pressure on Joe Burrow. Our defense is going to have to be on it because this guy can make stuff happen. So, yeah, they're going to have to make sure they put a lot of pressure on
Blitz.
Burrow. Yes.
Send 5, 6 at times.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
No, don't send 11.
No.
Joe Burrow will find the open receiver.
He will.
Because they'll all be open.
I know, exactly. So my second one, keep making bold moves like I said last weekend. They listened to me, and it worked out for them. Andy Dalton was throwing dimes. So you're just going to have to do that again this week because Burrow will be that weirdo that finds the gaps. So make bold moves again. And also, my last but not least, I think they need to strike first. Come out hot and heavy because the Bengals are one of those teams that will come back at the end and be scrappy. So you don't want to be down going against the Bengals.
So watching the Bengals this year has been, if you are a Bengals fan, and I know Bengals fans.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Randy Slack from the Beach is a Bengals fan.
Right, we've got one in the building here.
We do?
Jim Kelly from Mix
that's
101.5
right.
is a huge Bengals fan.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think their offense will show this week.
Yeah.
So, what's the best way to beat an offense that is geared up to perform? Keep it off the field. I still have yet to see the we are going to run the ball offense. That's what I want to see. I want to see Chuba Hubbard and, use Miles Sanders too. I want to see Hubbard and Sanders combined for, let's say, 40 carries. I want that to happen. I think the number of carries, the number of times you hand the ball off, and in this case, we'll even count passes to the running backs in the flats, all right? Little swing passes to backs. Count those as running plays. If we can get that to 40, I think the Panthers have a chance to win. That's what I think. They have to shorten the game because Cincinnati is going to try to win this game with their offense. Defense is not bad, but that's what I think. Panthers Pawprint, starring Victoria. All right, when we come back, second look at the news of the day, and there's a lot of it.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And even though week 4 of the NFL is about to hit us over the head like a 2x4, we still have the final weekend of Major League Baseball, and the Braves, big favorites at home over Kansas City. The Mets, actually slight favorites on the road in Milwaukee. Both teams need to win, maybe need a little help from Arizona, so both of them make the playoffs. And isn't that what Mets and Braves fans are rooting for? $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 wager. Panthers home to the Bengals on Sunday. Have fun with that. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever. Overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris for president.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
The North Carolina Courage is the only professional women's soccer club in the world to bring home gold, silver, and bronze medals this year. And you could win a season ticket package, including 4 tickets to every home game in 2025. Visit WRAL.com and search Courage to enter.
Connection, opportunity, possibility. It's what we all want. Spectrum has built a world where anything is possible, with products and services designed to work better together for a seamless connectivity experience. A connection to family and friends, a connection to education, and a connection to new opportunities. So there's no limit to how big we can dream. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces his way into the end zone. Touchdown!
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's always better to have 2 healthy quarterbacks or 3 healthy quarterbacks in this case than 2. So, you want Russell Wilson to be healthy, but, it's going to be really hard to take Justin Fields off the field because of the momentum that this team has and because of how all the guys are responding to Justin Fields. They all are really buying into him as a leader because he's so calm, he's so steady. He very much, though he's a young guy, he has a veteran presence and he has this aura that, you just want to follow him.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria's here. We are going to dig back into the Victory Bell battle with Dave Harding. from the Duke Radio Network. He'll come on in about 15 minutes. And then we'll talk quarterbacks. We didn't spend a ton of time on a Friday. We should spend a lot of time. We didn't spend a ton of time because we talked a lot about Carolina and State and Duke in our first segment of the show. We didn't spend a ton of time on the Carolina Panthers. And we have an opportunity to do that right now in our second look. Some of you, it's a first look. So I say hello to you, waterlogged people of Charlotte. I hope everybody's okay. I said this at the very top. Helene has been destructive. The app game was canceled for tomorrow. Schools where we are here in Wake and surrounding counties were either switched virtual or canceled outright. And we were not nearly in the path that some of you were in Charlotte and other in the mountains here in North Carolina. Shouts to our friends in Asheville, our friends in Charlotte. Hope everything is okay. Normally, these types of storms impact us in Wilmington at the coast, down east, right? And speaking of that, it was Hurricane Floyd. I wasn't sure. Back 25 years ago, it was Hurricane Floyd that displaced ECU. Steve Logan, who came on when they announced they were going to honor that team, he came on and told the story about how Lou Holtz, after East Carolina beat the Gamecocks, Lou Holtz would not allow them, because they had nowhere to go, wouldn't allow them to practice at South Carolina. He flat out said no. I think they practiced it like a high school. Anyway, at halftime of ECU's game this weekend, they will honor that team. So I hope they've notified Steve Logan about that.
And we'll get a Nashville update in our roundtable.
We will, absolutely.
So we'll see how they're doing over there. Oof, they're not prepared for that.
No.
They don't see that over there.
1916 is the last time they had anything
it's crazy
like this. All right, so let's go through some things. Panthers, Bengals this week. I want to read this before we get into some sound bites from people like Ejiro, Ivero, and Deontay Johnson. We have an injury report. Out, Lonnie Johnson, cornerback, hip. Damian Lewis, out, one of the starting guards. Shai Tuttle, foot, one of the starting interior defensive linemen. Questionable, Ashawn Robinson, knee. Already down Derek Brown, right, for the year. Out Shai Tuttle. Ashawn Robinson's got a foot injury. Deontay Johnson has a groin issue. I don't think Adam Thielen's playing, right? Or if he's playing, he's hampered.
Yeah, I don't think he is.
Right? Robert Hunt is questionable with a hip injury day to day. Hopefully, they won't be missing both Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt because it has been a pretty good start to the year offensive line-wise. I know everybody is pointing to pass block, win rate, and pressures and all of that. Before you go and anoint this version of the Panthers offensive line as one of the best in football, let's let a few more games play out. It has been just 3 games. All right? So, chill. That's all I'm asking. Just chill.
Yeah, solid advice.
But it has not. It's been a good start, I think, for the offensive line. Something we had to see. All right, now let's get to what people in the know have to say. Ejiro Evero is worried about Joe Burrow and company.
It's a very good offense, an excellent offense. They got great players at pretty much every position. And you look at, obviously, Joe is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Gesicki, a tight end, really good O-line, really good back with Moss. One coach that I have a ton of respect for, Zach Taylor. We worked together at the Rams. And just knowing the character of the person, the intelligence, how good of a coach he is, how he does with people and the team. So I know this is going to be a great, great challenge. And, we don't prescribe and don't buy into the records. We know that this is going to be a tough, tough challenge, and we've got to be ready.
It's the Bengals fancy themselves a Super Bowl contender, and they're 0-3. When good teams get off to bad starts, somebody pays for it.
It's dangerous.
Right? Somebody pays for that. And, if you were, if you didn't have an emotional interest in this, you would look at it and go, oh, yeah, Panthers are going to pay for this.
It's not good.
It's not their fault.
No.
It's not their fault the Bengals started 0-3.
No.
But you might be.
They're going to carry the baggage.
Exactly. You might be right there in the wrong place at the wrong time. Anyway, Deontay Johnson coming off a great game. I think maybe his best game of his career. Team played well. And now you get to this week and you try to do it all over again.
Getting in that rhythm early and just the line and just get established in the run early. So, that allows you to open up the pass game as well once you start establishing the run, and then just really staying ahead of the sticks and just, making your plays, when you get opportunity. And just stuff was just flowing. Andy was making quick reads, knowing where you always want to go with the ball. So just little stuff like that.
Get into a rhythm, get off to a good start, play with a lead, run the ball.
That's one of my Pawprint tips.
Run the ball. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Deontay Johnson was listening to you.
He did.
And he did everything but say Pawprint there.
I know. Maybe next time.
Maybe next week. All right. Now to the game last night. The Dallas Cowboys beat the New York Giants 20-15 in, honestly, 3.5 hours we can't get back. It was just...
it's bad.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Anyway, head coach for the Giants, Brian Daboll, on the loss.
All right, tough game, competitive game. Came down there to the end. Missed a couple opportunities to advance the ball or keep drives going. Quarterback played well. Made a lot of good decisions, throws. Couldn't get our run game going. Tried a variety of runs. Give them credit. They did a good job of shutting down our run game. That was huge. Again, competitive game. Give them a lot of credit. Tough one.
Yeah. As for what the Cowboys proved with this, Damian Woody from ESPN on what they showed.
I don't know if they showed me anything that makes me feel comfortable about the Dallas Cowboys, but I will say this. Having these quick turnaround games on the road it's daunting. Coach used to always say, let's just get through this one, boys. Right. And then you got the reward on the backside of it. So give credit to the Dallas Cowboys. They come off a tough loss against the Baltimore Ravens and go on the road against a divisional opponent and go out there and get the win. Now they get an opportunity to rest up and then move on with the rest of the schedule.
They're 2-2. They're 2-2 in a division that is probably going to be won by 11 wins. I think if you go 11-6, you're at the very least, you're going to be tied for first in the NFC East. Chris Canty from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio blames the Giants.
Giants lost that game. And a big reason why they lost that game was the head coach, Brian Daboll. Dabes has got to recognize when the game is on the line. The opening drive of the second half, you got goal to go from the 3-yard line, fourth down. You got to go, Ev. You got to go. The Cowboys had back-to-back touchdown drives early in the game, going the length of the field. When the opportunity presents itself, you have to take advantage of it. That was the inflection point. The Cowboys defense going into that game had given up touchdowns on 9 of 10 red zone possessions. That was your opportunity from point-blank range. To make the decision to kick a field goal and remain down by 2 when you had an opportunity to get a touchdown, that is absolutely egregious, Smalls, and that is just one of the decisions that Brian Daboll has made in the early goings of this season that is going to lead to him being out of town after 2024.
Man, I hate to agree with Chris Canty, but I thought the Giants really just thought that this game was being played in 1975.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Why are we kicking field goals?
Makes no sense.
Yeah, the goal-to-go situation, there were a couple of other times that they opted for a field goal or even a punt when, what are you doing? You're not going anywhere. You're not winning anything. This is a winnable game. This game presented itself to you because the Cowboys, and maybe the Cowboys would have done more if the Giants had forced them to do more.
Yeah, they definitely played to their opponent.
So the Cowboys presented the Giants with an opportunity to win this game.
Especially the last 2 minutes.
Right. And the Giants went, yeah, I don't think so.
You can have it.
I don't think so. Well, just, only the Steelers can just kick field goals and win.
Yeah, definitely not the Eagles.
Right. So, yeah, I agree, man. I didn't know what Daboll was doing with that. Really did not. All right, when we come back, Dave Harding of the Blue Devils Radio Network, he will join us. Duke is 4-0. Malik Murphy is dropping dimes to Jordan Moore and others. We'll talk about the battle for the victory bell next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Everyone's excited about Andy Dalton winning his first start, turning around the Panthers, and I get it. But it's not just Andy. Give credit to Robert Hunt downfield blocking, Adam Thielen making the best catch I've seen a Panther make in a long time, Chuba Hubbard running through tackles. Yes, Andy Dalton was the difference, but it was everybody that stepped up in that game.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Did you know that most of your home's cold AC this summer leaked out through your old windows? Save money year-round with energy-efficient ones from Window Nation. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months. Love your windows like Albert, who says great value, great product, and great customer service. Hurry, sale ends September 30th, so schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or at windownation.com.
The clock is ticking. Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is almost over. Until September 30th, you can get 5 years of 0% financing on any purchase. It's the perfect chance for worry-free shopping with no interest and monthly payments customized for you. And now open Sunday, September 29th. Take advantage of this amazing opportunity. From luxury timepieces to engagement rings and more. Don't wait. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only until September 30th. For details and more, visit DiamondsDirect.com.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts.
The kick is good!
Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today.
It's bow time. Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
It's truck season at Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Get yourself a brand new 2024 Chevy Silverado 1500 with a combined discount of up to 15% off. Or just 5.9% interest for 84 months with a 9% combined discount when you trade in a 2013 or newer vehicle. See dealer for discounts and details. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. Visit in person today or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
This is Adam Gold.
Victoria, you played sports in high school, right?
Oh, yeah. Basketball, and I swam.
Could you imagine competing for $1 million?
No.
$1 million.
No. I competed for plastic trophies.
I was also a high school athlete, baseball player. No, and I could never even imagine it.
No.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing this program. Tomorrow, 4 o'clock, Wallace Wade Stadium. Battle for the Victory Bell. It has gone light blue the last 5 iterations. Mac Brown, since returning from what was a media retirement, is 5-0. This is Manny Diaz's first crack at the Victory Bell. Pardon the bell pun there, although it's not a Liberty Bell. So, Dave Harding, Executive Director, Blue Devil Network, and Man About Town, part of the Duke Radio Network. He has won this bell. You have spray painted this sucker Duke blue. What do you recall from those crazy days of youth? And by the way, congratulations once again, new dad.
Thank you. I don't know what's better, introducing another child into the world or winning the Victory Bell. Both of
yes,
those
you
right
do.
Up there.
A clear sign your wife is not listening that you would even pretend.
No, definitely the second son and the first, both highlights. But I will say, spray painting the Victory Bell back in 2012, the first time the Blue Devils won it in quite some time. I think the streak was longer than 5 at the time.
Oh yeah,
for Carolina was something to behold, and is a memory that I will hold on to forever. And then we won my final year at Duke over in Chapel Hill to clinch the Coastal Division. So it's kind of in reverse order in this case, where it's the first ACC game for both of these teams, and you're putting the Victory Bell on the line. But with the way the playoff is set up and the way that the ACC works right now, each one of these games crucially important if you're looking to get to Charlotte, and you could basically tee up the rest of your season and the conference portion of your season in a great way with a win, not just in bringing home a trophy with the Victory Bell, but working toward an ACC trophy. So a lot on the line.
Dave Harding is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. And I am not in any way making a joke here at all about what you just said. There are people who are listening to this, all 8 of them, who went, wait a second, is Dave making like talking about Duke competing for the ACC title? I'm not making an editorial comment. You have seen this team up close. You've seen Malik Murphy and the receiving core. You've seen the defense and tackles for loss and all of that. And it has to start with a win over the Tar Heels tomorrow. But the last game against Middle Tennessee, and I don't know if Middle Tennessee is any good or not. I really don't. That was the first, I thought, start-to-finish performance by the Blue Devils. What have you seen from them? Because the conference schedule is pretty hard, I think. What have you seen from Duke?
Well, I've seen from Duke a group that is buying into the important things early and are treating and have treated the first 4 opponents to their season with great respect. Have they played perfectly? Absolutely not. But they've definitely been prepared for each one of their opponents, and you're seeing a group kind of come together and believe in one another. And it happens to be a team that I believe has a legitimate talent on offense, defense, and in special teams. So it's a group that has a lot in front of them. There's still a lot to be determined, but when I survey what I've seen on tape and in person for what Duke has, and then I look around the conference and see what else is out there, I think there's a legitimate shot at making a run into getting to Charlotte. It's been a wild start to the year. The story is far from written, but when we think about teams maybe outside of Miami and Louisville that are kind of like running in the same pack, I think you have to include Duke in that. And again, I mean, you've got to start somewhere, and this week, tomorrow, is where that journey starts for the Blue Devils. But everything they've put on tape to this point absolutely gives them an absolute chance at least being part of that conversation. They should be.
At Dave Harding Jr. on Twitter, Duke and Carolina coming up tomorrow, starting at 4:00 at Wallace Wade Stadium. It goes without saying the first order of business is controlling Omarion Hampton. Stopping him is probably not even possible, but controlling him, limiting him is important. How do you see Duke doing that?
I think you've got to get vertical on defense. And when you watch the tape against North Carolina, the teams that have had the better success in limiting Hampton, it is the teams that have been able to get some penetration up front along the offensive line, take away some of his angles. They love to do that little stretch play, get him running toward the sideline so he can pick his gap. And if you take those longer developing runs away and force a decision to be made by Hampton into maybe the waiting arms of a linebacker or a defensive lineman, that's where you can have some success. It's definitely a challenge. I think it's about tackling too. He is so good at getting through first contact, and you have to make sure that you're tackling him low. I can't remember how many times JMU, and I understand it did not turn out the way Carolina fans wanted it to turn out, but Hampton still had his fair share of times just running through defenders that tried to wrap up around him too high. So between the penetration and look, Duke's been living in the backfield. They're one of the best teams in the country at creating havoc and creating TFLs and putting pressure on running backs behind the line of scrimmage. So between that and then making sure you're a sound tackler, that's about all the chance you have in limiting what's going to be an absolutely wildly popular option in the NFL draft coming up next year, and I know he'll have a long career as a running back.
Dave Harding is joining us here from the Duke Radio Network. 4:00 kickoff for the Blue Devils and the Tar Heels at Wallace Wade Stadium. When you look at North Carolina, the old cliche is that they're the wounded animal is the most dangerous, blah, blah, blah. But they are wounded because I thought even though they scored 50, they were embarrassed. Mac Brown was embarrassed by 70 points. Does it make the job of Duke that much more difficult, or does it not matter?
I think it does. As a player, I always wanted to be the team and the player that was the one that shed light on a team's weaknesses, and not the one that was having to deal with a team that had just had everything brought to light and had a whole week to fix it. So I think there's a similar feel with this game where, okay, you've got a really good coaching staff in Chapel Hill. They know what their strengths and weaknesses are. They're going to tweak some things and come back out. Maybe, do they go to fundamentals and stick to what they're good at? Are they going to throw something new out there in the attempt of kind of jump starting a new look and some fresh feel to their team? Who knows? So there's a lot more up in the air as opposed to if this is a team coming in at 4-0 that, although maybe a close win, had beaten JMU. Now I think there's more question marks about what to expect. And also you got to think that, to your point on the wounded animal, this is a group that's angry and ready to come out and prove that they're different than what they showed last week, on top of the fact that this is a rivalry game to begin with. So emotions are high. I think a lot of it comes down to how does Carolina handle that.
Dave Harding is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I talked to Bryn Renner. And by the way, I guess you guys both were in that 2012 game. He played in the 2011 game too. That was a win in Chapel Hill earlier in the season. The one the one that Duke won, ending that losing streak. Do you remember the play that won it?
I do very well. The 2012 play, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean Renfrey to Jamison Crowder was with about a minute or something to go in the game, won it. And I'll never forget this rivalry, and it's just truth for many rivalries. The highs have never felt higher, and the lows have never felt lower. And just in the midst of that game, and as a fan, you kind of feel it too. When things are going wrong, it almost feels like it's an insurmountable task to get the ship righted. But then when things are going really well, it's this jovial, nobody can bring us down type feeling. And I absolutely remember that. And I also remember, speaking of Bryn Renner, we scored. We felt like when we were on offense, I remember we felt like we didn't have much time left. But then we scored and had to kick the ball off to Carolina. And they had a chance to run a few plays, and it felt like 2 years were left on the clock.
What I remember is that I couldn't believe that Jamison Crowder held onto the ball.
I know.
Because he was hit hard when he caught that ball.
I thank him for catching and holding onto that ball. And he's turned into a great receiver in the NFL.
Uh-huh.
That was a heck of a play, a heck of a drive, too, because you remember, we were actually – Duke was moving the ball. And we had a lead, and then there was this wild play where Carolina fumbles it. Ross Cockrell, defensive back for Duke, is going to jump on the ball, give us the ball back. Instead, and I forget who the running back was at the time, scooped it up and scored a touchdown to go ahead with not much time left on the clock. I remember just standing on the sideline about to go in that ensuing drive, and Sean Renfrey looks at everybody and goes, we're going to go down the field and score a touchdown. And then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, right. Like, we'll see how this goes. And we did, and got it done. It's what this rivalry is all about. And the past 2 years, no exception. It's just for Duke fans gone the wrong way, but what wild finishes.
Oh, two absolute classic games, yes. Look, I think there were coaches in the past for Carolina that didn't really look at this game as a rivalry. They won it, but they didn't really look at it. Mac Brown cares about it. How long does it take a Manny Diaz in year one to really care about this game?
I think he cares. I just met with him actually a few minutes before this call, and just in talking to him about the importance of a rivalry and asking him kind of how he's feeling. He definitely says this one feels different. Now his approach to it is not different. His teaching to the team is not different, but call a spade. This game means a lot for the bragging rights, but then also what we were talking about to begin this conversation, Adam, in a team that believes they have a shot in getting to Charlotte, this game matters. And it's a conference game. It's a playoff game, essentially, as you have to win as many of you can to be included in that conversation. So there's a heck of a lot riding on this. And it's this staff's first, step into that pool of what the Duke-Carolina very famous rivalry is like. I think the tension and the difference around campus has been palpable. You can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he definitely values the history to this rivalry and is taking it very seriously in terms of making sure he leaves his mark positively on it in year one.
All right, final thing for Dave Harding, Duke Radio play-by-play, color analyst, not play-by. I don't want to, get in the way of Mr. Shoemate here. But aside from Malik Murphy, and I believe he'll have a good game, Duke wins if this guy pops. Who is it? Who's the player?
Yeah, offensively, I think Jordan Moore has to pop. And part of that is in Malik Murphy finding him. But I think the Blue Devils have a chance at going deep and making some of these deep ball shots count that we've seen throughout the first 4 games of this season. It is no surprise that Duke is willing to take some risks, high risk, high reward, in the passing game. And Carolina has shown that they've got, some busts and some liabilities that they've shown in the secondary through the first 4 games. And I think if Duke's going to win, they've got to take advantage of it and force Carolina into some tough positions. And Jordan Moore, being an incredibly talented athlete at wide receiver, has to be the person that leads the way. And then defensively, I think it's a collective effort, Adam, of exactly what we're talking about, and getting penetration, making sure, fundamentally sound, but then tackling low around Hampton. You've got to limit his effectiveness in the game, and then get Criswell into some tough spots where, like we saw last week, he's, apt to throwing it to the other team. But I think what's beautiful about this rivalry.
We lost him. He disappeared. What's beautiful about this rivalry, silence is golden. All right, when Dave calls back, we'll just thank you, or we'll just leave it there. All right, I want to get into quarterbacks here. I appreciate Dave Harding, who's a dynamite and a second time dad. At Dave Harding Jr. on Twitter. Just lost all service. I blame the hurricane. I blame Helene. I just got a text. All right. So I want to get into quarterbacks here because I heard some fascinating conversations as I was driving around this morning, running errands, coming in here. And I everybody's territorial about their quarterback. Can we just agree that Patrick Mahomes is one of one? Certainly of today's quarterback, one of one. And the only thing keeping him from being one of one, maybe historically speaking, is he hasn't had the time to achieve what Tom Brady achieved in terms of winning Super Bowls. I would argue he's already got 3. So let's just agree that Patrick Mahomes is one of one. Because I believe he combines the best of Aaron Rodgers, the best of Tom Brady, the best of Joe Montana, Dan Marino, the guys who have the ability to make every throw, be accurate, be creative, be unpredictable, be elusive, all of that rolled up into one, and do it at the biggest moments. So that's what I think of Mahomes. So let's just, even though there might be a person or two out there that go, he's overrated, whatever. I think he's one of one. Most people believe that. After that, we can get into conversations about this guy, that guy, this guy. And it generally comes down to really 3 players. It comes down to Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. I know there are people who want to put C.J. Stroud in there already and other brand new faces. I'm talking about today. I am now no longer talking historically. It's a pretty much a slam dunk that Patrick Mahomes is one of one today. I do not put Burrow in the same category as Allen or Mahomes. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't. And I've explained why. I believe right now Burrow is still, I'm not saying he's not great because I think he is, but I don't think he would be as great if he did not have a Jamar Chase, a T. Higgins, and now, I can't even pronounce the other guys. The third receiver's name I can't pronounce. He has been very good, but why is he very good? In large part, he's very good because Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are around. So I think Burrow, while great, isn't Allen or Jackson. Now, they may not be necessarily the type of quarterback that Burrow is. I think both guys are great throwers, accurate throwers, intelligent quarterbacks, all the things that Burrow is too. But what I believe for those two players is that their overall package, what they present to a defense, is way more terrifying if I were a defensive coordinator. Way more terrifying than anything Joe Burrow presents. I'm going up against Joe Burrow. I am going up against the great mind, the great arm, accurate thrower, and that's hard enough. But Allen and Jackson present the other element, not that Burrow can't escape. Nah. He does that when he has to. Allen and Jackson do that when they want to. Those guys are far and away difference makers with their legs initially. Like Allen, he's probably going to end up, what do you have, like 40 yards rushing last week? He'll end up with 500 yards rushing this year.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
8 rushing touchdowns. In many ways, Josh Allen is Cam Newton.
For sure.
Cam Newton was the greatest red zone weapon in the history of football.
When I see him scramble and get like 15 yards, totally Cam.
But the thing about Josh, it's not even the scrambles. There are a lot of designed runs for him. They are not afraid because he's bigger than most defensive players. Other than the defensive linemen, he's not bigger than them. But he's like 6'5", 250. Linebackers aren't really built that way anymore. Defensive linemen are. But basically, these linebackers and edge rushers, they're like 230. They're speed guys. Allen is a monster. He is rugged. The only drawback to Josh Allen's game is, and we haven't seen it yet really this year. I think he's turned it over a couple times, but the only drawback to Josh Allen's game has been, why did you do that? Like, he makes some decisions that you go, really? Are you kidding? But again, 3 weeks in, we haven't seen those types of decisions.
He at least seems better this year so far than last year.
We've only played 3 games. Jackson is in many ways the same. He does it differently than Allen. He's not trying to run anybody over. He's trying to dare you to catch him. But again, people sleep on the fact that he is a very accurate thrower. He's got a great arm. He's a smart quarterback, all of that. The one thing, and I guess you could say the same thing about Allen, is that they have not yet had the postseason success. I would argue that Allen did. He won that game in Kansas City against the Chiefs until his head coach lost it. Go back to when Buffalo had Kansas City with 13 seconds left on the clock, and the Chiefs did not have a timeout. They might have had it. I think they had one timeout, and somehow the Bills lost that game. But Josh Allen did win that game. That's why when I hear, well, he's got to go out and prove that he can win these games. No, he did. He did prove that he could win the game. His coach lost it. This is why, in many ways, he didn't win this, he didn't win that is such an empty stat because, A, sometimes your defense is no good. If your argument against Dan Marino as one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time is that, well, he never won a Super Bowl, that ain't on Dan. That's on the fact that during the Marino era, the Dolphins maybe had one good defense. They went to a Super Bowl in his second year, I believe. Lost to the 49ers by a lot, but they never got back to a Super Bowl. It wasn't because Dan wasn't great. I would argue that he's the best passer we've ever seen. So quarterback and wins, yeah, not a good stat. Not at all. Sometimes they do everything in their power to win, and their team, or as in the case, as I pointed out with Buffalo a few years ago in Kansas City, the coach, screw it up. Jackson hasn't played well in those situations. So he does have to prove that. Allen has nothing to prove. I put Allen and Jackson in the same category, but I think Allen is better. But the whole idea, well, Allen hasn't done this. If he wins this, he then... If you're not a believer in what Josh Allen is as a quarterback to this point, then you're always going to find a reason to say he is not one of those guys.
It's probably the same people that didn't like Cam Newton that would think that.
Yeah, again, I think they're incredibly similar quarterbacks.
Of course they are.
So
they're talented.
Yeah.
They're rough around the edges, but they're very talented.
Big arms. Allen so far has stayed healthy. So far. Newton, we got 8 years, and actually he wasn't completely healthy for all 8 years. We had some issues. What was it, in 16 or 17?
It's kind of where it started.
16 was the first shoulder injury was in 16, the year
they
after
played him too soon.
the Super Bowl.
Went back
right.
out there too early.
Right. And then in 18 was when it ended.
Yeah.
That's when
Thanks, Watt.
TJ Watt blew up the shoulder and he
Sure.
could not throw the ball.
Yeah.
Again, shoulder injuries and quarterbacks, man, that's bad.
It's hard to come back.
Yeah. Allen has been able to avoid that. He is amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right. But the reason I brought it up is that they're going to play each other this weekend. And while nobody's proving anything, this is an enormous game for Baltimore, because if Buffalo goes to Baltimore and wins that game and the Steelers win in Indianapolis, Baltimore would be 3 games behind the Steelers. 3.
That's so weird to say. Wow.
I think Baltimore wins. I did pick Indianapolis to upset Pittsburgh, but
yeah, I could see that.
I mean, I hope the Steelers do win that. I do think Baltimore, you have no choice. You gotta win that game. I think Buffalo is in pretty good shape in a division that I think they will win, because I think they're better, maybe significantly better than the second best team, which is the Jets now, because Miami's just bad. There's nothing there right now. If Tua does not come back, and I think it's reasonable to assume that he is not coming back, there's nobody there. I don't think Miami can win 7 games with their offense the way it is. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll stretch. We have bets to place. I almost ran the table yesterday.
Yeah, me too.
I came very close. Didn't quite get half of a parlay, but we got 5 out of 6 legs correct. So we'll see you on the other side.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
My name's Kate Roper, and I live in Leicester, North Carolina. In September of 2023, I had a tumor removed from my left ear, and I just enrolled in NC Medicaid. It was just such a relief knowing that now that I'm covered by NC Medicaid, I don't have to worry about how I'm going to pay for medical treatment now. It's probably saving my life.
See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
Is it already week 4 of the NFL? Feels like the NFL season is already flying by. Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Let's get you started with $200 in bonus bets. Guaranteed when you make your first $5 wager. That's incentive. How about a 3-leg parlay for tonight? All things Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. The Giants aren't very good. Just go to FanDuel.com/AGS, FanDuel.com/AGS to make every moment more this season with FanDuel. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The extra help and Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Since the pandemic, life expectancy in our state has declined, and Cone Health is pledging millions of dollars and countless man-hours to address health disparities in medically underserved areas of the state. We'll talk with Dr. Olujegede, who is helping to lead Cone Health's Catch 5 in 5 initiative. The North Carolina Healthcare Association and the North Carolina News Network invite you to learn more on this month's Conversations on the State of Healthcare, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast or by visiting nchealthcare.org.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcast.
Psst. Hello there. It's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rec to request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we've got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
Since the pandemic, life expectancy in our state has declined, and Cone Health is pledging millions of dollars and countless man-hours to address health disparities in medically underserved areas of the state. We'll talk with Dr. Olujegede, who is helping to lead Cone Health's Catch 5 in 5 initiative. The North Carolina Healthcare Association and the North Carolina News Network invite you to learn more on this month's Conversations on the State of Healthcare, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast or by visiting nchealthcare.org.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does that make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Yesterday, I know, Victoria, you were on the edge of your seat. The United States beat the international team in all 5 four-ball sessions yesterday to take a 5-0 lead.
Whoa.
In the President's Cup, yeah. And I was watching some of the coverage, and I love Paul McGinley from Golf Channel, and he was expressing disbelief at how the United States had this 5-0 lead. Man, the internationals are so close, but the Americans keep... I'm like, Paul, where have you been? This is what happens in the President's Cup. I can't explain it other than I look at the rosters and the international team ain't that good in terms of having heavyweight players, because they don't. They have a couple, but that's it. And the U.S. has a whole bunch of guys who's won major championships. So I don't even know what to say other than you're trying too hard.
Yeah.
This is unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be a runaway, except 4 matches are on the course right now.
Oh, boy.
Internationals lead in 2. U.S. leads in none. The comeback is on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all sitting on the edge of our seats.
Exactly. It's just the President's Cup.
Yeah.
All right, let's stretch.
Okay, so I love these back in the days. This happened. So 26 years ago, not terribly long ago, was 1988. Mark McGwire became the first baseball player to ever hit 70 home runs in a single season. He held on to that record for 3 years until Barry Bonds, of course, raised the bar to 73. He had 70. And Barry Bonds got 73. So, yeah, that was 26 years ago. Also, 19 years ago, the Atlanta Braves clinched their 14th straight division title. So, we'll see if they kind of repeat history here. But moving on, this is funny.
I'm trying to think who Mark McGwire hit his 70th home run off of. I think it was against the Cubs. Was it off of Steve Traxel?
Potentially.
Nope, it was not. It was Montreal's Carl Pavano.
Okay.
My fault.
All right. Well, there you go. Even more knowledge about that day. Now, more knowledge to learn about Patrick Mahomes. So
Okay.
he's got a lot of highlights on the fact that he has a dad bod, right? He's this professional athlete. He's got a dad bod. He's a great QB. What's going on here? Well, he's had the same personal trainer since he was 9 years old.
Right.
Apparently, it says he's had this trainer. So who's working out since they were 9?
Richard Simmons?
Apparently.
I'm sorry, he passed away.
He did pass away.
Well, I'm sorry, I shouldn't even bring that up.
It's fine.
I love Richard Simmons.
Mahomes, he's had the same trainer, I guess, since 9 years old. He's been going at it for a long time. But his friend, since then, his name's Bobby, said, quote, there's a reason that he keeps the dad bod versus giving him the, six-pack abs.
He likes ice cream.
He does like ice cream. He said, quote, I think an NFL quarterback should have at least 14% body fat. It's not from an unhealthy standpoint, but from a force absorption standpoint. So he wants to have more cushion for him. Because
Are you serious?
It's dead serious. It's all because he's basically saying he wants more fluff so he can take the impacts from these guys on the football field. That's where he's going.
What a rationalization that is.
I know. I'm going to need you to eat some more pizza and ice cream because I need you to be fluffy for the football field.
Exactly.
So,
Man, the Chargers pass rush is coming after you. You might want to have another bag of chips,
make
Patrick.
sure you eat some donuts before the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's, if you've ever wondered, they're doing it on purpose, apparently. He wants to keep him having the dad bod. Okay, whatever you say.
Gosh, that's terrible.
We'll believe it. Maybe people should believe our bets.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, so here's what I did yesterday.
Yes.
Remember, we live bet the Tigers, and they won the game.
Yes.
Right, they were trailing 2-0. We live bet the Tigers plus 220. We said the White Sox would avoid catching the Mets for that record. They did. They won 7-0. So White Sox and under 7.5. That was a winner. We lost the total with the Giants and the Cowboys, but the Giants did cover the 5.5. So I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm ready. You go first.
See, that's the thing. I took the Cowboys and the under for plus 160, and I took the Giants getting under 19.5 points, which was only plus 102. So I went 2 for 3 at least. So hopefully we can make some good bets today. I got one UFC bet because they are in Paris, and Lee yesterday didn't go over the main event. So Renato Moicano versus Benoit Saint-Denis. He's at home. St. Denis at home. He's got the belt. He's going to win this one. I think he's going to win by the points with this one because his opponent's good at submission. So give me the points for St. Denis at home. That's plus 750.
All right, let's get right to it. Carolina hosting Cincinnati. Panthers are getting 4.5 points at home. Total is 47.5. Panthers are going to put another scare into the Bengals. I think Cincinnati wins the game at the end, but I'll take the home team plus the points over 47.5. We're going to see a shootout.
Yes. I can get down with that.
I know you can.
Now I'm going to the football field. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence and his hair, are going to go to Houston taking on the Texans. I think this is all Texans all day. Stroud's going to come in hot. Give me the Texans to win, and I think it'll be high scoring, over 44.5. That's plus 150.
All right, I'm going to guarantee NC State a win right here. Give me Northern Illinois on the money line, plus 220.
All right, you bought it. You bought it.
Yeah, I'm doing the best I can for you. Also, North Carolina will beat Duke tomorrow. Plus 114 on the money line. Should be a fun weekend, though.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And the Thursday night, whatever that was, with the Cowboys and the Giants, thankfully that's over. Now we look to Sunday. Panthers are home to the Bengals. But how about this? For the other team in the area, Washington going to Arizona as a 2-1 team? Can you do this? A huge game for the Commandos. Check it out. FanDuel's giving new customers $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 wager. So let's get in on the fun. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Who's ready for some football? Celebrate the season with award-winning wings and ice-cold pints at Carolina Ale House. With wall-to-wall TVs, Carolina Ale House is the go-to spot for every game. From Honey Buffalo to 5 Alarm to Carolina Barbecue, we've got wing sauces for all flavors. If you're feeling hungry, don't forget about our brisket French dip or Philly cheesesteak. Grab a front row seat, sip on your favorite beer, and watch your squad with us. Carolina Ale House. Ale yeah.
The new Boost Mobile network is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for life.
That sounds like a threat.
Then how do you think we should say it?
Unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for the rest of your life?
I don't know.
Until your ultimate demise.
What if we just say forever?
Okay.
$25 a month, forever.
Get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile forever.
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
The North Carolina Courage is the only professional women's soccer club in the world to bring home gold, silver, and bronze medals this year. And you could win a season ticket package including 4 tickets to every home game in 2025. Visit WRAL.com and search Courage to enter.
We want to invite you to Atlantic Spas and Billiards to bring more relaxation, wellness, and fun to your home. Sit in a hot tub from Hot Spring or Caldera, relax in a hot sauna from Finleo, or swim in our showroom in our endless pool. We have a fully stocked game room showroom with darts, ping pong, foosball, air hockey, pool tables, and more. Everything we sell for your home, from hot tubs to grills, from saunas to pool tables, promotes relaxation, wellness, and fun. Atlantic Spas and Billiards on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh and Market Street in Wilmington, AtlanticSBNC.com.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
Pros, now's your chance to save big during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Right now, save big on appliances like the GE Stainless Steel Kitchen Suite. Plus, save $40 on 5-gallon pails of Valspar Reserve, Valspar Defense, and Valspar Stain. Shop Pro Savings Days today for big savings on everything you need to get the job done right. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 9/27 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Dalton takes one more knee. David Moore did a cartwheel behind the formation. And on a week where everybody had everything to say about the Panthers, the critics were out. They were loud. Carolina comes to Las Vegas. The aces all came up. The sevens rolled around. The slots, they hit jackpot. Andy Dalton delivers with 300-plus yards and 3 touchdowns. And Dave Canales gets his first win as an NFL head coach.
Anish Shroff, the voice of the Panthers, who I believe could have shouted bingo on the Vegas cliche card. Well done.
Most definitely.
Oh, well done there. All right, we're gonna have our round table. We will check in on a good friend from the mountains. And normally these types of storms bother us down east, but we will go from the mountains to down east, and we will talk football and maybe a little bit more. But before we get to that, it's time for a wall of sound.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
And the comeback continues at the President's Cup at Mount Royal in Montreal. Internationals lead in 3 of 4 matches. The other is all square.
It's intense.
Hideki Matsuyama and Sung Jae Im are 3 up on Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele through 4 holes.
What?
Yeah. Okay. I texted my friend Brad Fritsch.
Yes. Still into it as much as he was yesterday.
Are you glued? He goes, no.
Is it still going on?
I'm working. Packing up golf gloves.
I was going to say.
Go check out Red Rooster. What?
Yes. I was going to say he's busy working on his other golf things.
Yeah. He actually has turned that into an actual job.
Right.
Which I'm not sure he's happy about, but, he's in a good headspace anyway. All right. Let's get to the Panthers coming off a win. They won twice last year. As a group, now, new group for the most part. Yeah. But as a group, not a lot of experience dealing with success.
But we're halfway there.
Right? They won twice last year. New coach, brand new head coach, Dave Canales. The mentality on trying to go 2 in a row.
For me, it's just the next game. There's you don't carry all of those wins or losses into the next game. It's just this one. They're right back to work, I'm sure, just like we are. We're focused on this game, and we can't think about what happened in the last week.
Oh man, that was so coachy. Let's move on. All summer long, we kept hearing about Bryce Young and Deontay Johnson and all of that. There couldn't have been a lot of connection between Andy Dalton and Deontay Johnson. Dalton didn't do those special extra sessions. He wasn't getting all the reps as Bryce Young was during training camp and practices for the first couple of weeks. But Andy Dalton is a pro. He and Deontay Johnson did get to know each other pretty well.
This is a real challenge, to come into a situation where most of your reps haven't gone to Deontay, but both of those guys are experienced players who are very serious about the game plan, about working through the nuances of the routes all the way through the plan. And so that was a full week process all the way through Saturday of talking, on game day talking, having those conversations on the sideline. So just a great job by those two guys to find good work together.
All right, now let's move on to the defensive side of the ball, and Ejiro Evero and his defense is going to have to deal with a Joe Burrow-led offense that is looking for win number 1. And the truth is that we have not seen great offense from them yet. First game, they lost at home to the Patriots. I don't know how that happens. The Patriots are not good. And it was a dud of an offensive performance. And we were watching Burrow kind of flex his wrist on the sideline going, I wonder if that's a problem. Hasn't really looked a problem the last couple of weeks, but they still haven't maxed out their offense. What is Evero looking out for?
It's a very good offense, an excellent offense. They got great players at pretty much every position. And you look at, obviously, Joe is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Gesicki at tight end. Really good O-line. Really good back with Moss. One coach that I have a ton of respect for, Zach Taylor. We worked together at the Rams. And just knowing the character of the person, the intelligence, how good of a coach he is, how he does with people and the team. So I know this is going to be a great, great challenge. And, we don't prescribe and don't buy into the records. We know that this is going to be a tough, tough challenge, and we've got to be ready.
Yeah, first of all, we all anticipate that the Bengals, when we add it up after 17 weeks, they're going to be in the mix for a playoff spot. So in the AFC, that means, 10 wins at a minimum. So you're dealing with a team that is probably going to win 10 of their next 14 games. And honestly, if you are observing this, it's hard to see the Bengals getting to 10 wins without this one. With all of that said, there's a reason the Bengals are 0-3.
There is.
They're not quite there yet. See if the Panthers can make them 0-4. All right, to the game last night. Mike McCarthy, Cowboys head coach, thrilled.
I just think really as a whole, just the whole team. I mean, it's really the first four-quarter game we've played. I mean, it was a complimentary football game. I wish we'd have been able to drive the ball more offensively. Just felt like we left our defense out there a bit much. That dead long swing right before the half, and then, they came right back here in the first drive in the third quarter. So, I thought that was very challenging for our defense and for them to continue to fight. But I think the biggest thing was, we were able to, frankly, I feel like it's the first game I called, for 4 quarters.
Whatever. I think the Cowboys were lucky that the Giants weren't aggressive. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Cowboys had 2 early touchdown drives, and then basically that was it. That's all they really did. But they kicked 2 more field goals the rest of the way. So, like in 3 quarters of football against the Giants weren't that good. The Cowboys posted 2 field goals. Come on. The Giants, and we'll hear from Chris Canty in a little bit. To me, the Giants were, I don't know what, I don't understand not pushing the envelope when you are clearly not a team that is good enough to just win a game like that by paper cuts.
Right. Yes.
Just not going to do that.
No.
I didn't understand, but that's what the Giants do. Dak Prescott, happy to get a win.
It was huge, after obviously losing 2, especially at home. Coming on the road, first division game. Division wins are always tough. As I said, then you add on the road. Before a long weekend, puts a better taste in our mouth. But at the end of the day, as I've said, even after those 2 losses, a couple weeks, or the past 2 weeks, it's a process. So we're not going to get complacent. We're not going to get overexcited about what we've done tonight. It's about building, and it's about figuring out what we can do better in all phases. But it's a lot easier to do that with the win.
Yes. Look, I said this at the very beginning. Dallas won the game. Good for them. 2-2. They were never going to lose that game last night. But they didn't do enough to take it completely out of the Giants' hands. When they kicked the field goal to make it 17-12. Yeah, good, they kicked the field goal. Then they missed the field goal late, right? They missed the field goal late.
Right.
At that point, my eyes bled, and I couldn't see anymore. So I'm not really sure what happened.
Right.
But the Giants seemed to me to refuse to take what was being offered to them, which is, would you like to beat us? And the Giants went, I don't think so. Chris Canty from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio summed it up.
Giants lost that game. And a big reason why they lost that game was the head coach, Brian Daboll.
Dabes has got to recognize when the game is on the line. The opening drive of the second half, you got goal to go from the 3-yard line, 4th down. You got to go, Ev. You got to go. The Cowboys had back-to-back touchdown drives early in the game, going the length of the field. When the opportunity presents itself, you have to take advantage of it. That was the inflection point. The Cowboys defense going into that game had given up touchdowns on 9 of 10 red zone possessions. That was your opportunity from point-blank range. To make the decision to kick a field goal and remain down by 2 when you had an opportunity to get a touchdown, that is absolutely egregious, Smalls, and that is just one of the decisions that Brian Daboll has made in the early goings of this season that is going to lead to him being out of town after 2024.
All right, so I have a rule change I would like to institute for football.
Okay.
All whether it's professional football or college football.
Okay.
Or high school, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I have a rule too. Do we have an icon for we need a rule or something like that? Do we have anything like we used to? We used to.
We do, actually.
Yeah. Play that just for giggles because it's fun. I need a ruling. It's close enough. All right. So here's what: if the field goal attempt starts with a 1,
yes,
or a 2,
yes.
So a 19-yard field goal. Or a 22-yard field goal, which I believe the Giants kicked last night.
Yes.
It's only worth 2 points. That's my rule.
Okay.
That's my rule. If the field goal is one of those,
yeah,
then you don't get 3 points for it.
And if you miss it, you subtract those points?
You should.
Yeah.
You should, actually.
Yeah.
So that's my rule. All right, when we come back, a round table. We'll see if Jeremy Green and Patrick Johnson like that rule. They won't, but it's fine. Next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk. Panthers Playbook. The Pawprint. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
The snap. Raiders bring a twist. Screen pass. Right side Chuba. Gets a block. Has the 5. And tracks into the end zone for a Carolina touchdown.
Football's fun again. Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
The clock is ticking. Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is almost over. Until September 30th, you can get 5 years of 0% financing on any purchase. It's the perfect chance for worry-free shopping with no interest and monthly payments customized for you. And now open Sunday, September 29th. Take advantage of this amazing opportunity. From luxury timepieces to engagement rings and more. Don't wait. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only until September 30th. For details and more, visit DiamondsDirect.com.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Win or lose, every bet you place brings you closer to perks only Caesars can offer. Hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using the promo code Radio1000 and you'll place your first bet today. If you win, great. If not, you'll get it back as a bonus bet up to $1,000. Must be 21 plus and physically present in North Carolina. New users only must register using eligible promo code. First bet after registration must qualify. Max bonus bet $1,000. Bonus bet expires 14 days after receipt. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full items. Tribal Casino Gaming Enterprise is a licensed operator by the North Carolina State Lottery Commission. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go! It's bow time.
Here's Megan with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Are sleepless nights affecting your life? Parkway Sleep Health Centers can help. We've treated sleep disorders in the Triangle and beyond for over 20 years. We offer sleep studies, office visits, CPAP machines, supplies, and more. And our streamlined process allows us to see you sooner and usually saves hundreds of dollars.
End sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. What? It's the Adam Gold Show. For those people dealing with the effects of hurricane/tropical storm Helene, hope everything is okay. We are thinking about you, especially those of you in harm's way. I don't know if I guess the Royals got into Atlanta yesterday at some point because I have not seen any news that game is not going to be played. 4 baseball games that matter today in terms of teams making the playoffs. White Sox are in Detroit.
Okay, so we're throwing a curveball because Jeremy is in Asheville and could not get any cell service. So I texted Tim Donnelly if he wanted to join the roundtable last minute.
Look at this. Oh, man.
So we still have Patrick.
Shouts to Jeremy Green.
Jeremy's good. I texted him.
Okay.
He just is. We're not able to call him. So
that's a bummer.
I threw like a last text out to Tim and was like, "Want to join?"
All right. Well, cool. Tim's probably going to talk about all these things today anyway. But I was just going to mention the White Sox are in Detroit. The Tigers may never lose. Kansas City and Atlanta. The Royals need to win, although they're probably going to make the playoffs anyway. Minnesota's kind of falling apart. Mets in Milwaukee, San Diego in Arizona. Those are the 4 games that really matter to making the playoffs. Let's start the roundtable music.
Camelot. It's only a model.
Oh, we went to the bullpen. You get ready in a hurry, Tim Donnelly. Wait, I can't hear Tim. Why can't I hear
He's
Tim?
a pro.
There we go. I said, do you mean now? She said, yep. I was like, all right. It's appropriate with all the baseball going on. We're just going to the bullpen.
That's right.
Bring a righty out of the pen.
You are a righty.
I am.
There you go. And we have Patrick Johnson from 94.3 The Game in Greenville.
I don't know what to do. I'm with all these really major league radio professionals, and here I am, some slap.
Well, wait,
from the
what
sticks.
the hell do you do?
I don't know what to do. I don't
do
know.
the same
I'm
thing
intimidated.
that we do. You get paid for that, right? You get paid for it.
If you call it that, Adam.
Yeah, that's true.
Really...
Well, we don't have to get into that, so we don't want to embarrass anybody here. All right, let's start with the Panthers, and then we'll get to some other things. So I'll start with you, Patrick, since
yes, sir.
Since you're not sitting in front of me. Did we see anything on Sunday in Las Vegas that leads that you think is repeatable against Cincinnati, or was that the Raiders kind of
Being the Raiders?
just sort of rolling over and getting like just having no response? Like, is that
Sure.
repeatable?
No, I think it is because you don't have a ton of film out there on Andy Dalton, right? How do you do now? You have a game, and you have old film, I guess. But you also have a competent quarterback, a quarterback that doesn't get frazzled. I thought you're maybe it was last week at this time when you were discussing that Bryce Young just is in such a panic because of the rush, even though his offensive line's playing better.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, you had a quarterback that didn't get frazzled in the pocket, that hung in there and, put some touch on some passes. My thing is this: why isn't Andy Dalton? You tell me he's not been good enough to be a starter the last 3 or 4 years somewhere.
Well, I mean, part of it is he allowed himself to be hired as a backup, and I think the end of his career, he was sort of content to just be on somebody's roster. Get paid well to do it. I think it's the best job in the world. I know. He's a young 36.
Great. He's a very young 36.
A young 36.
I think what we need to remember is the lasting image of the recent Andy Dalton before Sunday was the slow motion GIF of him throwing an interception with the Arizona Cardinals guy diving into the end zone behind him with a pick six. He was awesome, and he's been awesome when he plays for the Panthers. But it's been a long time since 2015 or whenever he was top 3 in the league in certain stats.
All right, so I'm going to just change the line of that question for you, Tim.
Okay.
Did Sunday tell us that it was really all about the quarterback?
Yes.
Hard to argue against that. No, you're fine. That's like when the color commentator goes, "Oh no!" after like a ball is in the air, even though you're supposed to let the play-by-play. But it's you can't help yourself. I know, and I get it. It's right. The thing is, what Dave Canales wants to do, Bryce has a hard time with. If you look at where Bryce's 2 back-breaking interceptions were in the first 2 weeks, down the middle, intermediate stuff. If you look at what Andy Dalton did really, really well,
right,
down the middle, intermediate stuff, seam to Tremble, seam to Adam Thielen, crosser to Xavier Legette goes for big yardage. Where's a short quarterback going to struggle with? Throwing over Robert Hunt, a giant human, throwing over the interior part of the offensive line. So if Dave Canales' game is built around, seams and crossers and digs and all these things that are over the middle, Bryce isn't going to make that work. So it's there's no doubt that Andy Dalton cured some things that the offense wasn't able to do with Bryce, and then on top of that, the confidence was obvious after that first game or first drive, and we hadn't seen confidence from Bryce in a while.
My only response to that is we saw Bryce complete those passes last year. Some of them. He didn't complete a ton.
Yes.
He didn't complete a ton of passes last year. He wasn't very good, but. We saw those passes completed last year. I actually saw the shot from behind the quarterback on both of those interceptions, and he had a clear passing lane to throw on both of them. So on those particular I'm not saying that 5'10", 180 isn't a contributing factor to Bryce Young's issues. But on those particular throws, I think they were just either bad throws or why were there 2 receivers there? On both situations, there were 2 receivers in the mix, and I'll never get over this because for the interception against who was it? Against the Chargers? I don't know. I'm forgetting what it was now. When Chuba Hubbard goes for 12 yards, and then they empty the backfield on the next play, and it's not even a joke.
That was the Chargers. It was like the 4th or 5th series of the drive.
I'm like, why are we doing this? I legitimately, it occurred to me that it's possible that they're trying to prove that Bryce can't play more than and it's if that's what Canales and company they want to do that so they can get another quarterback, that's fine.
Can I take it one step further?
Sure.
What was the very first offensive play for Bryce Young? It was the interception. Everybody remembers that. How did you get there? It's a inexperienced, low confidence quarterback. Under center, short guy under center. That's not setting him up for success. Right. Play action. So we're going to give you 3 seconds to make this decision. The first second, you're going to be staring at a running back's belly with your back to the defense. Then I need you to pop up and throw a 15-yard crosser. What was the first pass play, the very first play of the game for Andy Dalton? It was a 4-yard out to Adam Thielen from the shotgun. No read, catch, throw, catches it, gets out of bounds. 1st and 10 becomes 2nd and 6. And I'm sitting there going, I would have loved that first play for Bryce Young.
Yeah.
So maybe it's Canales learning and saying, ooh, I outthought myself, thinking nobody will think we'll go play action deep crosser on the first. Maybe he just learned, or maybe it was a little bit subconsciously what you were saying.
But doesn't to me the offense just Dalton looked very comfortable. The offense looked confident. It didn't look like there was just this utter chaos that the first 2 weeks were out there, where everybody, to your point, looked confused as hell. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just. Maybe it's because he's 5 inches taller. Maybe it's because he's been playing the position for 15 more years at that level. I don't know.
How about this? Deontay Johnson, after the game on Sunday, kept saying it's different with a veteran presence out there.
Yeah.
And I'm going, well, Deontay, you were supposed to be the veteran presence. You're supposed to do that for
he
Bryce.
Just wants the ball. He just wants the ball thrown to him.
You're a 6th-year player in the NFL. You need how many veterans do you need around the veterans?
When you're in the locker room with Adam Thielen, everybody feels like a rookie.
True.
Everybody feels like I want to take it one step further than you did, Tim, because I believe the first drive of the second half against the Chargers, the first play they ran was a play-action boot to the right and a pass to Tommy Tremble to the sideline, and he was open, and Bryce, it just looked perfect in flow. Like, I'm thinking, where were these calls? Now, I don't want to be, I'm trying not to run the risk of being like, you're the Bryce apologist. He's been bad.
I've been accused.
Right? He has been bad, but I really feel like he has sort of been hung out to dry by last year's coaching staff. I contend, and I'll throw this back to you, Patrick. I'm sure you've talked about it. I contend he should not have played last year.
There's a lot of shoulda, couldas.
Right. But was it? Trying to think who said it. It might have been Mike O'Connell from the Vikings head coach.
Kevin O'Connell. Mike O'Connell's playing point guard for NC State.
Oh, he's very good. By the way, he played on the same high school team as the kid from UNLV.
Small world.
No longer in UNLV.
But Kevin O'Connell was the name you're looking for.
Right. So, and maybe it was somebody that just used him as an example. Organizations ruin quarterbacks more than quarterbacks ruin organizations. The fact that you gave away DJ Moore and draft capital and put the worst roster in the NFL and asked a quarterback to come into the league in his first year and operate it in any functional manner is an organizational problem. I'm sure you've talked about that, Patrick.
After watching really poor quarterback play last year, one of the things in Greenville, one of the things that got totally overlooked was the play of the offensive line. That was a huge problem last year in Carolina. Now, it was overshadowed by the fact that Bryce had all of this on his shoulders, that they played him and maybe should have eased him in a little more or done something. I don't know. But the offensive line play, at least I guess on PFF, those numbers.
It's been good.
It's been better.
It's been good.
It's been better than last year. It's been good. It's been all right. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. You're overlooking the fact that the offensive line was lousy. You mortgaged the farm. The whole thing. But that was never going to be in the cards. You don't do all of that and then sit the guy on the bench.
But why don't you? That's my point.
Because your owner is a maniac.
Well, okay, so that's
a meddling maniac.
So that's the organizational failure.
Yes, it's the organizational thing. Yeah,
it's how far back on the string you want to go. You don't trade all of that and not play him because you don't trade all of that for a guy you can't play. It's playing him might have been a mistake. But if you go back further, then trading for him was the mistake.
That was the mistake.
If
you go back further, then thinking Darnold was the savior was the mistake. If you go back further, then it keeps going back, and eventually you get to
when the team was bought.
When David Tepper made a really good trade in when he was a Goldman Sachs aspiring partner, and you can trace it all the way back to that if you want to keep pulling on the string.
Yeah, honestly. They should have let Cam Newton play out the last year of his contract.
Yeah.
And then is your reset. Give Cam Newton the dignity of being the quarterback for the final year, it wouldn't have gone well because he was bad.
You want to hear one of my pet theories? I love this.
Okay.
Any better?
The best way to hide a tank is a retirement tour. So because if your team stinks and you're intentionally stinking because you want the number 1 overall pick, as long as a legend is the last guy off the field and he's waving to fans, you're still hearing applause.
And that's what would have happened. All sins would have been forgotten. They'd have been washed away. We'd have given Cam his roses, and everything would have been a lot better.
Yeah. The only thing about that is that, just recalling at the time, Cam wanted a contract, and but in the NFL, you can write dummy contracts, and they should have written a dummy contract because Cam was finished physically.
Ironically, Andy Dalton with Cincy has one of the all-time dummy contracts ever.
Yes.
He signed like a 5-year, $120 million deal, and that was the name or the numbers we got first, and everyone went, oh, my goodness. It ended up being like a 1-year, $22 million deal that they could just get out of at any point. It was him and Kaepernick, same year, very similar deals. I remember going, all right, they figured out these fake deals 100%.
All right, let's talk about what another first overall pick as quarterback. Patrick, I'm not sure how much you care about Trevor Lawrence, but it could be over for him too.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. I do some stuff for a station at Jacksonville, so I kind of pay attention a little bit to the Jags. The contract that wasn't a dummy contract, except for maybe the dummy that drew it up, was the $275 million that they gave Trevor, who I love his hair, and I know you do too, Adam.
Oh, he's like Fabio.
Yeah,
it's a
and he plays like
Harlequin
him as well.
romance
I think
novel
Fabio might play better at quarterback
Close.
than Trevor Lawrence. Boy, that just got so bad. I was working with the Bills fan yesterday, and they're cautiously giddy up in Buffalo right now. But I just don't know if this Jacksonville team's that good.
No, I don't think they are either.
They are clearly kind of rotten. But gosh, Trevor Lawrence, and I mean, you've talked about mortgaging the farm. Good grief.
Yeah, Doug Peterson might be gone too.
And that guy? I don't see how he's not. That, the thing about that is, I guess there's a baseline for everything in the NFL, but then there's just different degrees of how well franchises are run. And I mean, the Jags franchise is not just this very well run operation to begin with.
No, it's not. He's Shad Khan is more concerned about Fulham.
Can I give you this one as a comparison, maybe a little bit? I think Trevor Lawrence and Sam Darnold have a little bit of the same stuff going on. And what I mean by that is if you take Sam Darnold's 20 best throws from his time with the Jets, that highlight film matches up against anybody's.
Right.
And if you take Trevor Lawrence's best throws, it's real tantalizing. How is this guy not XYZ? But when you zoom out further and you include full drives, you're going like, missed on that one. Oh, probably should have made that one. Some of those easy throws really get away from them both. Darnold is obviously figuring out something up there in Minnesota, at least through 3 games. So, again, maybe I'm tantalized by the highlight film. I think there's still something there with Trevor Lawrence, but when you miss the easy ones, it's hard.
What was it? 2 years ago, I guess he kind of flipped the switch, right? Like
we're talking about Trevor, coming out of Urban.
Yeah, well,
kind of flipped the switch.
Anything was going to be good after
that.
He
cut the anchor and looked like he was running faster.
Yeah, but I mean, who's circling the drain more, Lawrence or Daniel Jones? That's the big,
Oh, Daniel Jones, that's over after this year. That has to be over after. It bothered me how much they were apologizing for Daniel Jones either during the broadcast last night or this morning. I'm listening to ESPN Radio. I'm like, he's objectively bad at throwing the ball.
See, I thought he played well last night. It's just it's the reverse Mahomes thing, where when Mahomes plays bad and you're like, I'm pretty sure he's going to win this game anyway.
Right.
Like Daniel Jones was playing well, I think, for a decent part of that game, but you just still had the feeling of, oh, he's going to have the ball with a minute to play and he's going to have to win it, and you don't see it happening.
I think
it's funny you said that with Daniel. It's funny you said that with Daniel Jones because I actually listened to the game on the Fan because I was coming back.
Thank you very much for that.
Yes, there you go. And Phil Simms, I mean, just an apology tour for anything. Just gushing over Daniel Jones.
Former quarterbacks got a little bit of that.
Oh, man, they stick up for each other.
It's hard not to.
Here's the thing, and Patrick Johnson and Tim Donnelly are here on the roundtable, and I didn't realize it was already this late, so we're going to have to go here in a sec. Daniel Jones in the right offense can be effective, but I think you must, It's not like he can. You must feature his legs. You must. I thought the Giants were most effective when they were using him in read option, right? I think it's a must for him because I watch when he was most successful at Duke. Like, we've seen a lot of Daniel Jones, and I know that when Daniel Jones is asked to be a quarterback, he ain't good. But I know when Daniel Jones is asked to be a runner first and then be a quarterback, he can be. You can't just play normal NFL football with Daniel Jones. I think Trevor Lawrence is very similar. I think Lawrence must be used in the running game to get the most out of his passing.
Vast majority of quarterbacks are situational. They need something, and it's different for all of them. There's only, at any given time, 4 or 5 truly inevitable quarterbacks that are just going to make any good offense.
All right, we'll close on this. We're just going to make picks on games, all right, since we spent with a lot of time. All right, Patrick, victory bell. The Tar Heels and Blue Devils at Wallace Wade Stadium.
Duke should win because they're at home, but I think, stick with me here, this was Mac trying to play some 4D chess with the woe is me, I'm going to retire, just so he could get his group fired up and stay undefeated against Duke since he's come back, since Spurrier took the picture in front of the scoreboard.
So who was your pick?
The Heels are going to win.
Heels are going to win.
They'll luck out.
Tim?
Look, and they're not very good, but they'll find a way.
I'm going Duke here. I just got to trust my eyes. They've been the best team in the state of North Carolina.
They have been.
And UNC Amari Hampton's awesome. Duke's run defense isn't great, but the same is true on the other side. UNC's pass defense isn't fantastic, and Malik Murphy's got something cooking.
Yeah, I love Jordan Moore.
I love Jordan Moore as well.
Definitely an NFL quarterback. NC State and Northern Illinois, Tim.
I'm going to do this on my show in a little bit here in the Triangle. I just want signs of life from NC State. I still believe in the offensive talent, but I have to again believe my eyes and go, the offense isn't great. But the moment in the ER shows where they just the unconscious person squeezes the finger and you're like, all right, he's back. As soon as CJ Bailey throws 2 first half touchdowns, I'm going to be like, it is alive.
Yeah.
So until I get that twitch or that little beep beep, I think I'm gonna be down on State. So I think State wins, but I think it's a very close game. If they give me a sign of life, I'll take them with some more points.
Yeah, they've Northern Illinois, good running team, and State struggled against the run. Patrick, who do you like in this game?
CJ Bailey showed just enough. So the Pack, they got more talent.
All right, Texas San Antonio is at East Carolina. Look. UTSA, are they still in the American or have they left for the Pac-12 yet?
No, they all released a statement this week to show of solidarity. So they're still on the island. They didn't vote.
Did they look each other in the eye and pledge an alliance?
It's a handshake.
They did something. They may have done something.
They got a verbal agreement from UNLV's collective.
Maybe, and we know how trustworthy that is. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this on my show today at 5 o'clock in Greenville. I said it some yesterday. This is the most important game of the Mike Houston tenure in Greenville because it's a team you can beat that is a little down, but it's a good program. You're at home. You've lost 2 games in really disappointing fashion after jumping out on teams that your fans feel like, just for the fan base. And for the balance of the season, this is the most important game of his tenure.
Yeah, and you can't lose in front of the 99 team, which is going to be honored at halftime.
Yeah, exactly.
Still the greatest night of sports that I have been present for in the Triangle.
It was wild.
Was that game at Carter Finley Stadium? You at Roadrunners, Texas San Antonio Roadrunners?
Beep, beep. I'm taking ECU, though.
Yeah, me too. Tim Donnelly. Appreciate your time. Patrick Johnson, 94.3 The Game. By the way, if you're listening, Raleigh, Tim's on the air in 22 minutes or less.
Nice to meet you, Patrick.
Nice to meet you, Tim. And today, Steve Logan on the Patrick Johnson Show. So check it out.
Now I'm listening. Now I'm definitely listening. All right. Thank you very much. Tim, you get the save.
I get the save?
You get the save. You came out of the bullpen.
Oh, all right, yeah, I'm with you. I forgot about that analogy.
You got the save.
Nice.
We have a GOAT update next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
ACT Construction Equipment is proud to be your certified local Takeuchi dealer in Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Asheville, Wilmington, and Myrtle Beach. Takeuchi has long been a world leader in the compact construction industry. Let ACT Construction Equipment help you find the right machine for the job. Our full line of excavators, track loaders, and attachments are designed for low maintenance and high productivity. Visit us online at actce.com to schedule a demo. ACT Construction Equipment, your authorized Takeuchi dealer.
NASCAR's Wild Card Weekend. It's a blur, just how it's supposed to be. Wide open weekend, Wild Card Race. The ultimate NASCAR experience. Camping, concerts, tailgating, and an edge-of-your-seat thrill ride in NASCAR's playoffs. Think your driver's making the cut? Good luck. The Bank of America Roval 400, October 12th and 13th. It's a wide-open weekend and a wild card race. Get your tickets today at charlottemotorspeedway.com.
Since the pandemic, life expectancy in our state has declined, and Cone Health is pledging millions of dollars and countless man-hours to address health disparities in medically underserved areas of the state. We'll talk with Dr. Olu Jegede, who is helping to lead Cone Health's Catch 5 in 5 initiative. The North Carolina Healthcare Association and the North Carolina News Network invite you to learn more on this month's Conversations on the State of Healthcare, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast or by visiting nchealthcare.org.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcast.
Psst. Hello there. It's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rec to request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
You don't need a 4-year degree to have a rewarding career that makes a difference in people's lives every day. As a public power line worker, you'll build and maintain a locally owned and operated electric system to keep the lights on in your community. 4 months in a community college program provides the training you need to begin your career as an apprentice line worker in public power. And being a local government employee in North Carolina comes with excellent benefits. To learn more about line worker and other public power careers, visit electricities.com.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare Savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Since the pandemic, life expectancy in our state has declined, and Cone Health is pledging millions of dollars and countless man-hours to address health disparities in medically underserved areas of the state. We'll talk with Dr. Olu Jegede, who is helping to lead Cone Health's Catch 5 in 5 initiative. The North Carolina Healthcare Association and the North Carolina News Network invite you to learn more on this month's Conversations on the State of Healthcare, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast or by visiting nchealthcare.org.
This is Adam Gold.
I had no idea John is a Cubs fan, too.
Yeah, I think that's a prerequisite to being the head coach at Duke. I made one comment about the Cubs to Mike Krzyzewski, goes back a while ago, talked about the pitching staff, and he goes, yeah, but I don't trust Victor Zambrano. Like, what?
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Big thanks to Tim Donnelly and to Patrick Johnson. Big thanks. Especially since we've robbed Tim of a half hour of his show later on today on the local, on the flagship, if you will, of the show, 99.9 The Fan in Raleigh, because Tim has to get out of the studio by 5:30 so we can do the Hurricanes pregame show.
Oh, there you go.
Canes and the Florida Panthers today at 6 o'clock.
It's back.
A 6 o'clock hockey game. I'm good with that because then the game ends earlier.
True. You could start your weekend earlier.
Yes, we're driving to Charleston tomorrow. Yeah, we have soccer season is upon us.
Oh, boy.
It
never ends, really.
No, not at all. I think we have 4 consecutive weekends because kid is playing for 2 teams now. All right, we'll stop talking about that. Before we get to the GOAT and the Rewind, because I know how much people are gripping all 5 matches on the course, President's Cup. Internationals lead in 3. The other 2 are all square, which I wish they would use that as opposed to tied.
Right.
Yeah, they're tied, but I thought in the match play we used all square. Yesterday, the United States won all 5 matches. It's kind of what they do in the President's Cup. There have been 12, 14 President's Cup. However many President's Cups there have been, the international side has won 1. There has been 1 tie. The last 2 played on an international home course have both been very close, but the first of those was in South Korea. The second of those was in Australia, when we don't have to fly halfway around the world. It's been a rout. And the U.S. Took a 5-0 lead. They're in Montreal. U.S. took a 5-0 lead, and but the internationals have bucked up, and the 3 matches that they lead are by all more than 1 hole. A 2-up lead, a 3-up lead, and a 4-up lead. Whoa. Maybe we'll have some intrigue this weekend. We'll see. All right, before we get to the Rewind, it is time for a GOAT update. Play the music. A GOAT update. Oh, I love this. All right, this is the greatest hurricane of all time. It's a GOAT.
Yes.
All right.
Emphasis on the
So we got down to 8 last week, and we were supposed to narrow it down to the final 4, but apparently we couldn't do that because there was a tie for 4. So there's no playoff, there's no tiebreaker. We just went 5. So this is now the finals of the greatest hurricane of all time. To vote, you must be a subscriber to the fan newsletter. So we have links posted on all of our social media feeds, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Where else are we? Did I just get them all?
Yeah.
TikTok?
So, yes,
TikTok?
probably. Everywhere. All over the place.
Friendster?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Pinterest?
Yeah, something like that. So we have links posted on all of our social feeds, newsletters, subscribers who vote. Also, this is the bribe. Offer. Also earn a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Hurricanes and the Dallas Stars game on November 25th. I mean, there you go.
That'll be a good one.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Who cares if it's a good one? It's a hockey game, and you could win tickets to it. So subscribe to the newsletter. Go to all of our social feeds. It's all there. So we started with 16, then we were 8. Now it's 5, and here are the 5 that you can vote for. Cam Ward, Eric Stahl, Justin Williams, Sebastian Aho, and Rod Brindamore. Who's going to finish second then?
I know. Second will be hard. I already know who should be number 1, but second will be difficult.
Well, we know who's number 1.
Yes.
Second, by the way, Eric Cole, Jacob Slavin, and Ron Francis eliminated. Ron Francis?
I know.
Yeah.
Big names.
Again, I'm here. I think Justin Williams is going to finish second. It's just the way I would not vote. To me, Eric Stahl would finish second.
Mhm.
If I were ranking these 5,
Mhm.
Eric Stahl would finish second. But we all know who's finishing first.
Yes.
We're going to have statues. We're going to name a street. All of that.
A day.
Yes.
Everything. There's going to be a burger with his name. Like, it should be.
It
The
would be
Bryn
lean.
burger?
It would be lean.
It would be.
It would be bison.
It would be.
Yeah, it would be
Yes.
bison. All right, so that's the GOAT. All you got to do is subscribe to the newsletter, and you can find ways to do that on all of 99.9 The Fan's social media feeds. Rewind. All right, let's get to Bryn Renner, who played quarterback for North Carolina. Actually, it's interesting. He and Dave Harding, who also joined us, they were on opposite sides of those Victory Bell games.
Right.
Okay? Because I think 2012 was Dave's last year, too. And it was Bryn Renner's. I believe it was his last year. Anyway, I asked Bryn what he noticed, because he does the games on the radio. He's an analyst. What has he seen from UNC's defense that has allowed so many big plays to happen?
Yeah, I want to kind of point out some things that I hit on during the broadcast when I was watching the game. I think one was JMU had a brand new coaching staff, and 58 guys were new on the roster. And the way of free agency, and we talked about this last time I was on, is the NIL is real. So all these teams are competitive very quick. Like their best receiver was a transfer from San Diego State.
Okay.
And I knew that kid on tape was going to be a really good player. Running back George Pettaway came from Carolina.
Yes.
4-star kid out of Virginia. So you're really looking at players now instead of saying, hey, this is JMU. No, this is like a George Pettaway that was at UNC recruited. So that was number one for me. Coming into the game, I knew they were extremely talented. And then two, when you watched the game, they looked like they had 2 weeks to prepare because they had a bye week before they came into Keenan. And you and I have both watched enough football. When you have a big game and you're going to play in Carolina and you're James Madison, the expectation, even when you get the calendar, the schedule, hey, man, that's a big game. And college players respond to big-time games. And, I think it was one of those games where it started off really hot. And I think college football, more than any sport, why we love it is because it's based off of momentum.
Yeah.
They have a blocked punt. They get the onside kick. They score off an interception. They score like 5 different ways that it's really hard to do that in one game and not win it. And so they just had a lot of breaks, and they caught Carolina at a time where, offensively we're still trying to figure it out with Jacoby. It was his first start. And then you got to get away from the running game. I said that all along. I said, Carolina's strength the first 3 weeks was running the ball with Amarion Hampton and trying to figure out who the quarterback was going to be. And that's tough when you get down by 11 points or 14 points and it keeps going and you can't run the football. So it was one of those things where it was almost a perfect storm. And it unfortunately happened and caused Carolina to lose.
The Tar Heels defense at times looks like it doesn't know what it's doing. And I know they do. Jeff Collins hasn't forgotten how to coach. But there are games where you go, what? And they have to obviously, I think they'll be focused this week. Right. A rivalry game came at the right time for North Carolina. And then, if it's legitimately about talent, then this should be a relatively, and it should be an even game either way. It should be an even game to maybe even a little bit of an edge to North Carolina if this game becomes about talent. The separator for me might simply be at quarterback. Malik Murphy is better than Jacoby Criswell. It just is. And right now, I think Duke is playing as a more confident team. But I do think the Tar Heels will figure out a way to win this. I think they will. You're never as bad as you looked. You're never as good as you looked. Tar Heels defense, Tar Heels as a team. I know they scored 50 points, but they were a mess. An absolute mess. All right, we're kind of out of time here, so I don't want to get into other sound bites. We've got Bryn, Renner, and Dave Harding in the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast for you. So if you want to get some more conversation about the Victory Bell game, there you go there.
And on YouTube.
And on YouTube, of course, which you get to look at me. And real quick, because we have a hockey game tonight, I'll just close on the Hurricanes, who I joked on Twitter yesterday when I saw the lineup. We all know that the second preseason game is the dress rehearsal for the regular season. Apart from the fourth line, the Hurricanes are dressing their entire lineup tonight. Freddie Anderson will start. We think Pyotr Kochetkov is going to be the number 1A goalie. But all 6 NHL defensemen are playing. All top 3 lines are playing. William Carrier is healthy. He's going to start with Stahl and Martinook. We're going to see Svechnikov and Kotkaniemi and Natchez as a thing. Jack Roslovic will play on the left side of Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis. And I think that's the way Carolina's top 3 lines are going to look on opening night, given health. So, I mean, I don't know who Florida's starting. I won't know until I get there. But this is an opportunity to see the guys in action. Victoria, thank you very much. Everybody have a good weekend. See ya.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and we are on the precipice of Week 4 of the NFL proper. Now we are on to Sunday. Bengals are in Carolina to take on the Panthers. Cincinnati, in spite of not winning a game, is favored against the hottest team in the league. That's right, the Panthers are the hottest team in the league. They have won 1 in a row. New customers, we're going to get you started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 wager. Can they make it 2 straight? Who knows? FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online